Hey, what's happening? Welcome. Good to see y'all smiling, beautiful faces out there. Welcome to another episode of Hope. I'm going to move my plate out the way so y'all don't see I was eating. I hope y'all had a good week off. I hope you added some value, built on your businesses, read, grew, expanded, had a little fun, all of it. So we back at it this month. Today's the first day of October, and we're in the last quarter of hope for this year. And I was reflecting on that, and I hope that this year the changes that we've made and the adjustments to the programming and the lessons, I hope that there was some value there for you that really etched in and taught you some of the same things, but in a deeper way. Because I've enjoyed watching Nana immensely this year, and I've seen the differences and the new stuff, and the new thoughts and some of that shit. I hope you don't let it go over your head, because it's fire as fuck. The offensive and defensive thinking, like that shit was so, it can be eye-opening to you and your business. There's so much new material this year. Y'all better not say teach me something new. Y'all better not say it. Because there's been a lot of new stuff that's not like $1 million worth of game. So, and it might be good for you to revisit some of those classes, revisit some of those lessons. Really, if you want to get up to speed, I think the crux of this class is going to be really about the intentionality and how you learn. Because somebody can stand there and give you all the game, but if you're not in a space to receive it, it doesn't matter what they say. I was watching this, reading this news article about a famous YouTuber who ran up on a homeless guy, and he wanted to do a good deed for the homeless guy. It's a true story. You can look it up. And so he gave the homeless man $100,000. Shit. $100,000. So you think, man, $100,000. If he lived anywhere in some rural area, he could cash himself out for a home for a year, or get a car, or really get set up. That's amazing. $100,000.
He didn't do that.
What you think happened?
He blew it.
2 days.
He blew it. 2 days, money gone. So you guys are right, money gone. Yeah. But he ended up getting kidnapped by family and friends.
Damn.
Goddamn.
Stripped him, took it. Might have killed him.
God damn.
I don't know if they killed him, but all the rest of the stuff is true. So taught me a lot about how we teach this class. Gave me some new insights. Is we stress super hard about when you are you ready to build a business and take on the journey of being an entrepreneur. Your environment's important. Your environment's important. When we said early in the year, it's not sometimes what you do, but it's sometimes what you got to stop doing. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So sometimes the stuff you got to cut off, things you got to let go of. Entrepreneurship still the curation of your ecosystem as an entrepreneur also includes your environment, your friends, who you hang around, who's close to you, who are you close to, who do you confide in, who knows, who doesn't know what you're doing. In addition to your own personal self-disciplines and your work to get better, but your environment matters. You can't, money can't help you if you don't change your frequency to the level of the money that you get. If you don't change the frequency and your vibration to the level of the money you get, it's gonna disappear. Just is. Oil and it can't hold on to you because you aren't showing up for it. So how are you preparing your environment for success as an entrepreneur? You still put yourself in risky situations, but you want to be a stable, successful entrepreneur. But yet you decide you still want to go plummet yourself into the hood or all this shit that you know that there's a high likelihood of some shit popping off. Like, you got to curate your environment. If you got friends with hot tempers, but you've changed. I've read all the books and I went to Hope, so I've changed. But all your partners still the same, and you still hang out with them the same. How do you think that's gonna affect your success over a long term as an entrepreneur? You gotta cut some shit off. You gotta grow, and your environment has to grow. So when you look to your right or left to get advice about certain things at whatever level you want to be on, if you have $100,000 in your account, but you need advice on what to do with it, and you look around and you got $5 friends, and you're asking $100,000 advice to $5 friends. What you think you're going to get back? You think they're going to miraculously have $100,000 ideas? Yeah. Fuck no. They're going to give you what they know. So you got to think about that shit. It ties into where we're going in this class in the first half. You got to think about all that shit. Because the game is cold. It's so cold. The game is cold. And you have to understand that wherever you're lacking or wherever there's holes or wherever you're fucking up or whatever, that you have to pay attention to where that is, and you got to fill those gaps before it becomes a thing. If you don't fill those gaps before it becomes a thing, then yeah, hurt you. So let's get started. Let's get started.
The Cosby Show and the Observational Knowledge Trap.
Okay. No, it sounds left field, but just ride with me for a second. When I was a child, I didn't have a traditional household, let's say that. Dysfunctional. So, sort of abandoned by both parents for their own reasons, and when they were together, it was on and cracking in that motherfucker, right? So, we didn't really have a blueprint on functional, happy households. Didn't have a blueprint. Drugs, violence, abuse, all the shit went on. And so I used to watch the Cosby Show and be like, damn, that's dope. I want that. I want that. I want all of that. The house, the happiness, the jokes, the kitchen, the little low level problems. I want that. And so I'm going to watch every episode and learn how to do that, how to have that. Right? That's observing. So I used the Cosby Show as my blueprint, and I studied. So when I became an adult and decided to get married, because I'm gonna recreate what I saw growing up at the Cosby Show. Well, that's what I did. Got the house, car, money, kids, family. But you know one thing I was missing? The insides, the stuff that makes it run successfully on the inside. I use my eyes from an observational perspective, and I tried to recreate what I saw. But what the main thing that I was missing was the nuts and bolts of the insides. How does it really run long term? Because I had no clue. They don't show that in the show. So when there came major problems in the relationship, I didn't have no answers. There was big forks in the road. I didn't know what to do. Damn, there's no episodes for this. I would think in my head, fuck, there's no episodes for this. And so observational knowledge failed, and a lot of us use major decisions. We use observational knowledge to build major shit just like that. And so in entrepreneurship and a lot of times in life, it's a trap. It is a fucking trap. Have you ever envied something that somebody had so much that you got it yourself and you realize this shit ain't even all that? Or I don't even know how to do this. I don't even know how to use it. Or this is a headache. Observational knowledge. Mm-hmm. And so I had to go and learn over time what it meant to be a real man, what it meant to be a real father, what it meant to be a real partner, not Cosby Show shit, but being mentored by those people. So when things came up, I said, hey, what do I do in this situation? And they say, that's gravity, man. This is how you work through it. That's gravity. See, there's a huge difference between sitting back watching somebody. In the human brain, it's the most deceitful thing that you can have in this particular case, because you can sit back and observe something and your brain will tell you you could do it. You could do it. Oh man, I'd knock you out. I'd knock your ass out. Think you can fight? I knock you out. I could beat up a lot of people. What kind of experience you got? I watch a lot of Bruce Lee, man. Really? You watched a lot of Bruce Lee? And now you think you can fight? That's the type of shit that happens. They say 70% of males think that if the pilot fainted or went unconscious, they think they can land the plane successfully because they've been on planes. That's human nature. Observational knowledge. I watched a lot of. I'm not trying to deter you from an undertaking. And I'm not saying that delusion doesn't have its place. What I am saying is, when you decide to get in the game, whatever game it is, entrepreneurial game, whatever that, for the sake of this class, the entrepreneurial game, once you say yes to yourself to click in, you better start doing some research. And you better get good people around you, because if you overvalue your confidence and your abilities, you're going to be fucked. You should get in there with a sense of, okay, I'm scared. I have a mountain of things that I have to learn. And let me get in here and start getting it. So observational knowledge is a trap. Doesn't mean you can't say, I could do that. Of course, if you believe in yourself, you can say, I could do that. But if you overestimate your ability to do it, then you're going to be fucked, because it's going to be a hard time trying to get to a place of of success and excellence because you'll be too busy realizing that, damn, I'm not that good. There's a video that used to go around of this street dude who beat up a lot of people in the streets. So he walks into a MMA gym and says, "Yeah, I'm 30-0 in the streets." And they said, "For real? You 30 on the streets? You ever trained?" "No, I just beat a lot." All right. He challenged everybody in there. Guess what happened to him? He got his ass whooped in like the first 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Why? He overvalued what he could do. And his observational knowledge fed his ego, and he got him fucked up. Mm-hmm. So I tell the Cosby Show example because to me it was the one closest to home. I really thought that I was a good husband because I watched the Cosby Show, and the outer shell looked just like the Cosby Show: the house, the cars, the family, the this, the that. But I had no inner structure. I had no tools because of my observational knowledge. And it wasn't until years later that I realized, what the fuck was I doing? I had 3 rules that I followed. I didn't know you had to like spend time with your kids. I didn't know you had to like spend time with your wife. I didn't know that. Because I just see him coming in, dinner, and then disappear. I didn't know there was like shit you had to do in between that. Observational knowledge. Observational knowledge. And I think there is a lot of confusion. People don't understand why they're not succeeding, or they don't understand why they can't get from A to B, or A to B to C, or D to E, or E to F. It's because of the work you have to do. You got to put in work at this point. And I'm not talking just physical hard work. It's you have to start reprogramming the way you think to get from one stage to the next. You have to fill yourself with tools and practice those tools and get good at those tools for you to get there. Nothing's going to just fall in your lap like that. Nothing's going to fall. And it's none of our faults as human beings, because guess how we learn as human beings? As human beings, when you're a baby, you learn through observational knowledge. Mm-hmm. You watch everything. You watch how people talk. You watch how people walk. You listen to the mannerisms. Babies learn to get from 0 to 5, 6, 7 from observational knowledge. That's a superpower at that age. So it's inherent in us that we continue thinking that that's how we get it. That's how we do it. And there are sometimes you get lucky, right? Or sometimes something is easy enough to adopt from watching. Or some of us have different wired brains than others. Some of us smarter than others have the ability to watch something one time and then do it. That is a possibility. It is a possibility. Who was ever in the dance scene? I knew somebody who could watch a dance routine once and then jump in there and do it. Mm-hmm. The fuck? Like, let's start at the first step again. What would you do? It's possible for some, but that is not the norm. Practice, get in there, build the muscle. Practice, get in there, build the muscle. Get good at it. Practice it a few times. Now it's easy for you to do. Now go to step 2. Like, let's stop playing this game of, oh, go to sleep and wake up and I got it. Shit is hard. Shit is hard sometimes. And you got to expect that that's the gravity of the game. But the observational knowledge trap it's a big one. It's huge. It's huge. And I want us to put at least you internally, when your mind and your body says, oh yeah, that's easy, I could do that. It's not the I can do that part. Your brain says, that's easy, I could do that. Let me see it again, watch it again. Yep, I got that. This guy made $50 million on the internet and all he did was just, you ever hear that? All he did was just, those people get on my fucking nerves. The all he did was just, or all she did was this. That's, you're stuck in the observational knowledge trap. All he did was, well then why don't you do it then? Or all you did is observational knowledge. You don't know shit. You don't know none of the nuances. You don't know none of the details, the tweaks, the years and years of tweaking and pulling back and growing and just throwing this away and bringing this in, testing, failing, fail. They don't see none of that. All he did was just, no. Like, throw that observational knowledge, put that down here. Have the confidence to believe that you can do something, but know that it's going to take work and be willing to put in that work. Oh, this is going to be a mountain. How do I know it's going to be a mountain? How many percent of people have it? How many percent does anybody know how many percent of people are millionaires? How many percent of people are multimillionaires? More than 1 million. How many percent of people make $10 million a year in sales in their business? Anybody know? 1.5%. So don't ever, all he did was just nothing. Because only 1.5% of the whole United States or population.
7.8, 7 to 8% of adult global population have net worth over $1 million.
So that's net worth. Yep. So net worth is 7. So how many businesses generate over $1 million a year? Can anybody look that up? How many businesses generate, the percentage of people who generate over $1 million a year in business?
Approximately 9%. So 1% of U.S. businesses reach 1 million in annual revenue.
How many percent?
So while the exact total fluctuates, it estimates that less than 1% of U.S. businesses reach 1 million in annual revenue.
Okay.
More specifically, approximately 9% of small businesses generate over 1 million in annual revenue. So it's kind of weird how they said that.
So is it less than 1%?
No, I think they say
Less than 9%?
One. Okay, so I think what they're saying is less than one will generate over $1 million in a year. But also 9% are worth $1 million, or worth $1 million.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means, did you hear that? So less than 1% of Americans will generate over $1 million a year. Less than 1%.
99% people won't get it.
That means 99% of people who are going after it, going hard, striving to try to generate money won't ever see $1 million. One
Also,
in sales.
that's not evenly distributed because 40% of the millionaires are in the United States.
So we're not even talking globally.
Yeah.
It's not even a blip on the radar. Probably 2% of anybody walking on this planet will ever see over $1 million in sales.
And it's just adults, so that's not including children being inherited.
So that's why it's very important for us to not overestimate what we can do in business. We should be humble to this game. Humble as hell. And be willing to do whatever it takes internally, psychologically, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever we got to do. But it's going to take your all, because you're saying, I want to be in the less than 1% club. So so what are you willing to do to be in that less than 1% club? If that's your goal. But if you like, man, I got it. Your vision board, how many people got that on their vision board? Right? It's going to take more than that.
And most black firms are not making more than $1 million a year.
And remember that. Remember that too. If we just carved it out to just black folks alone, the numbers would be even sadder. So we got work to do. We got work to do. We ain't got the time, space, or luxury to be tripping over semantics, words. Why you think we keep shit real for you so much? Because we got to. Oh, you hurt my feelings. We trying to get out of we playing this 1% game. You see the magnitude of this? You see how important it is? That's the point. Let's go to the next slide.
The root, not the fruit. Most of what it takes to succeed goes unseen to the public. There is no fanfare, no accolades or acknowledgement.
So a lot of times the noise that happens in our world and in our society and as potential business folks and entrepreneurs is we get blinded by the arguments over the fruit. Is what's seen, the output. So the equivalent of that is like if you had a apple tree and the apple came out and it looked warped, it looked off, didn't look healthy. And the person just went around and started polishing all the apples while it was on the tree. They start spraying all the apples with water while it was on the tree. It's too late. It's too late by then. It's too late. And then there's people who do analysis on the apple. They test the apple. They probe it. They check for worms in the apple. They do all this shit around the apple, build million-dollar businesses around the apple, but can't ever understand why it keeps coming out every season wrong. It's because nobody's focusing on the root. The root part is, you can't see it. It's unseen. It's quiet. Nobody knows what's going on down there. As an entrepreneur, that's where we live, in the root. The quiet stuff. The books we're reading. The quiet adjustments. Nobody's cheering you on in those spaces. Nobody's cheering you on. We play in the root. See, where I messed up in the first slide with the observational knowledge in Bill Cosby is that I was focusing on the fruits, the house, the car, the looks of everything. But building solid relationships, being bored at the house, spending time. I didn't have one board game. Right? Doing fun shit, building, being intentional about who you're raising psychologically. Like all those things, I had no clue. I just going for the looks of things. That's fruit. The root is, how do you deal with droughts? How do you deal with situations where things aren't perfect, unhappy, arguments, when you're ready to quit, like infidelity? How do you deal with all these things? How do you deal with it? If it doesn't align with the picture on the outside, a lot of times you want to cut the fruit. But true root work is learning how to navigate through all those spaces and heal, and have tools to heal and have tools to grow. Same as an entrepreneur. If you all in a video, because you want the fanfare of being an entrepreneur and you want the looks of being an entrepreneur, you want entrepreneur awards, but you're not in the roots of your business every day, of course the fruit's eventually gonna come out fucked up. Even if right now the fruits look good. Say this season the fruit looks good. So you're like, man, I'm good. I don't gotta do nothing. Shit. Stop watering. You stop focusing. You stop really going after. You stop researching. You stop doing soil samples and all the extra work you were doing to get the roots nice and healthy. Thinking that this good fruit's gonna last forever. Guess what? And by the time the fucked up fruit comes, it's too late. The season's over. So we focus on roots. Next slide.
The harmony of hard work.
So you talked about hard work. Now, there's another not misconception, but I want to just give my take on something. Is that we've pushed a lot in this class about being smart, working smart, right? And with AI can allow a lot of future automation with tasks, right? Correct?
Yes.
So the goal is to work smart. And now we have tools like AI that can help with automation. But even if you didn't have AI, the idea is to always work as smart as you can. But there's I'll call it a dark side mentality to this thinking, where some people allow this to give them the excuse to be lazy. Don't mean be lazy. So you still have to work hard. Doesn't mean that you work 80 hours a week, even 40 hours a week. It just means you may have to work hard mentally to really ideate and come up with concepts and ideas. You may have to work hard spiritually to work on yourself. You may have to work hard mentally to really push the boundaries of your psychology to be able to make changes in your mind so that you can be I won't say a better person, but to be the type of person to have the capacity to build success. You may have to work hard physically, keeping your body in shape, working out, eating right. Some of that's hard. You got to fucking work hard. Now, I say the harmony of hard work. That's subjective. It's not objective. It's subjective. Because whatever that harmony is for you, if you're getting the output that you need and you're growing, that means you're getting results. And harmony, when I say harmony as well, it means if you have other responsibilities, like you have kids or you have partners or you have you're in a culture, you're in a tribe of friends, there's other responsibilities that you have to show up for, aside from just business. And all of that has to be harmonious. And you have to rest. You have to make sure you're getting 8 good hours of sleep. You have to make sure you're recreating and going on your breaks, taking your breaks and vacations. But it doesn't mean when you're not in it, you in it. And you're doing the best you can. And sometimes that shit's gonna be hard. Gonna be tough. And just because it's tough does not give you the excuse to say, oh, then I work smart, not hard. I'm working smart. Some of y'all doing that. No, you stay in there. And you have to figure it out. Now, while you're doing it, you have to think, there gotta be a better way to do this. I know there's a smarter way to do this while you're doing it. Take notes. Then when you're done, you come up with a better strategy. Yeah, maybe I hire somebody to do this, or maybe I ask ChatGPT so that I can cut half the time to do it. Like, you're building your ability to work smarter, but it's not at the sacrifice of the hard work if you don't know how to do it the first time. Any entrepreneur I know, first 2 years of your business, were you kicking back, chilling the first 2 years? they like, they gave me a synchronized like agony look no on their face. They was like, they gave me the thinnest face like, hell no.
Hell no.
You got 13 positions and one person to fill them.
You.
Of course it's going to be hard work. And you're at a race to find another person that can help take some of that burden off of you. Now y'all got 6 jobs each. Still hard work. So the race now is to generate more revenue so that you can get more resources. And as you're racing, you're thinking, as you're working, you're thinking of smarter ways to work, even with the heavy responsibility. I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to put a process together for this. I'm going to add this. I'm going to take away this. I'm going to talk to customers. I'll talk to the customers. You do this. It's still hard work. Mm-hmm. Then over time, oh, look, we made more money. Instead, you going to buy a car with that money? You going to buy a house with that money? No, we're going to buy help. That's working smart. So now it's 3 of you. Three jobs each now. And you keep that's how you scale out and work smarter. You're all the while you're growing processes and finding smarter ways to work and build, but you're investing back the resources into your company, into human resources that can help give you back more time. But stop. Hard work is part of it. Hard work is part of it. Now, as you hire more people, then your jobs, your positions get less and less. And now your job just becomes potentially one steering the ship. And steering the ship takes lots of thought. So you may not be doing a lot of physical hard work, but are you doing a lot of mental hard work? Some mental hard work. You're thinking. And some of that looks like you chilling. Sometimes I'll be sitting in my office. Sometimes now, not as much. Everybody's around me. And I'm sitting back. I'm thinking, should I try to look busier than this? Because I'm thinking. I'm coming up with strategy. I'm trying to find a better way in my mind. I'm playing with ideas. And I'll sometimes be there 3 hours coming up and my brain hurts. So then I'm like, I need a break. So then maybe I'll drift off and watch some stupid. And the whole while I'm working. To the observational knowledge, to the observer, I'm chilling while everybody's doing all the hard work. Boom, I just got an idea. Boom, fuck yeah. Hey, okay, new shift. We're going to do X, Y, and Z from now on, all right? Oh, yeah. Cool, all right. That's like you grow into that, but you can't jump from 0 to that because you don't want to do no hard work. Man, get your ass to the gym. Stop thinking that's over with. That mentality is whack. We're not gonna go into 2026 with that. Shakina, I see your hand.
No, so I was, I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts around money because I'm trying to put my business through like financial boot camp. And I was just thinking about one of the podcasts I was listening to, the lady was like, you can't save your way to wealth. You have to make your money work for you. And so many times we think about just like, I'm gonna have this comfortable job, I'm gonna cover my expenses, and I'm gonna put money aside and not realize that like it's a hamster wheel that won't take you really far. And so it was making me think about just growing up how I always prioritized because of scarcity, how important it was to pay in cash, have no debt, only buy what I could afford. And all my bills were paid, but like I didn't have good saving patterns. I didn't develop a healthy relationship with money. It scared me. Even to this day, like I feel like the biggest holdback for me and why I haven't grown tremendously is because of my fear of acquiring too much money because I don't know what to do with it. And so it's just really interesting to just hear like it would have been way more attractive to buy the nice things, to have the flashy things beforehand because those were almost like status representations as opposed to the things that I'm now coming to see are actually important as my kids getting older, as my business is getting bigger, like those foundational things that nobody really talks about. Everybody talks about the flashy stuff, but then you realize if you get it, it doesn't mean anything and you still have all those insecurities. So I just like appreciated this because I think that it's sold to us the opposite way around. And just to hear people that are running businesses and making money saying like, hey, that's smoke and mirrors, like really you need to be focused on that was just very appreciated.
Sure. I would add this too is having an idea as to where and why is okay because those are your starting points in your like Inspector Gadget of trying to figure out and uncover what's holding you back. But you'd be surprised what it actually will be. So be open to it being over here. It could be over here or down there. Because I've done this before where I've zoned in on why I'm not making no money. Oh, that's why. So then I put all my energy into fixing that thing, and I fix it, and I'm still not making no money. Fuck, I fixed it. Because that wasn't it. Mm-hmm. It was over here, or it's up here, or it's down here. So it's like a list. You make your list and just start crossing off your list. Mm. And because there's our brains, it could be something that happened to you in the years where you don't remember. You don't even know. And that's important.
It's interesting that the conversation has drifted off into this path because ChatGPT and I had a very interesting conversation today, literally around changing beliefs around stuff. And so when you talked about the money, I was like, you have this idea of why, your beliefs around that. What I found out through this conversation was I was brought up with two different views of money. My mom had one view, my dad had another. And so how those two kind of came together, it was a very total opposites.
Contradictory.
Yeah, it was very contradictory. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so, and ChatGPT is pretty cool around that because I forced it to tell me opposite stuff or tell me, like, try to go deeper into the reasons why. And it came up with something that I had never thought of before. Like, you literally had both of these things as I grew up. And it gave me, like, this odd ass definition, and I was like, oh shit. And then how can I, use some other practices to think differently and act differently around it. But had I not gone through, it's literally making that list of things, and then what is opposite, what is what's deeper than just that surface level. Because I literally have been trying to figure out, what is this, like, what is it, and why can't I find the answer to it? Well, shit, you don't know, so you gotta dig deeper. And it was just really eye-opening to get that little nugget of information. Like, I never would have thought of that on my own. So it was pretty dope.
I love that. You hear about the guy this year who won the lottery? He won, I think it was an $80 million lottery, and it was 24 million different combinations. So he invested 24 million to basically cover all the combinations and won the 80 million.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
It happened this year. Now,
I mean, that's kind of smart.
I would look at it like that. You got 20 something million different reasons why, hope, fears, trauma, this, that, the other. You just start with the first combination. And if you get lucky, it may be up there, maybe in the middle, maybe down here, or you may die before it happens. That's the risk, but that's the mentality versus, because we don't know. You may have loved your mom slightly more and been more of a mama's girl, so that her ideas and philosophies stuck harder for you. But on the surface, you may believe your dad. It's different. That's why reading and practicing, because you'll know when you get stuck on a situation and the fear wall hits you, or you procrastinate a little too long on something. You got to be in the game. You got to practice. You got to go after it. You got to find out where the edge of yourself is and get back and be like, damn, I froze right there. What's that about? I was scared right there. Let me investigate. And it's like, that's why we don't teach prescriptions. Because this entrepreneurship is, especially as black folks, is so much deeper than prescriptions. We got to uncover all the shit and tar and bullshit and trauma and fear that's inside of us before we can even get to the bag. It's like the dude, the homeless dude. He had $100,000 in his hand, but his environment, his mentality, what he was gonna do with all the shit, what didn't match the $100,000. So we're not talking to you about the $100,000. We're talking to you about all the stuff around it to match to the $100,000. And y'all like, no, give me the $100,000. Teach me the $100,000. We like, yo, you teach you the $100,000. Like, if you ain't got no, do you got anything to lock it up with? You still addicted to drugs? You don't got a place to live? Your 3 best friends dope fiends too? All right. Good luck. Next slide.
Bro, can I say something real quick on Harmony Hard Work? There was a podcast I listened to as well, and it was about some of the myths around weight loss, and the scientists was coming out with all their research, and they used the Biggest Loser. They were actually studying those people during the weight loss and then after the weight loss, and what they found is that when a person was really big and they lost weight, your metabolism slows down because your body says, well, since you ain't got all that weight anymore, then you don't need all this metabolism. So your metabolism is, you can't trick your metabolism. If your metabolism senses less food, it slows down. And since there's more food, it picks up, right? So if you eat less, then you're almost imprisoned to have to eat less for the rest of your life. And exercising by itself won't override bad amount of calories and slow metabolism. So what they discovered, the way that weight loss is actually achieved and maintained, not achieved and then lost, like you see somebody lose 80 pounds and then 2 years later they are 110 pounds bigger. Mm-hmm. what they discovered was weight loss is actually tied to lifestyle. So, how are you sleeping? How are you stressing? Are you so busy that you have to go to a fast food? They found out, said, well, how does sleep impact you? Well, when you're low in sleep, your body craves carbs because you're low in sleep. So the people who are really, really busy, pay attention. As you get busy, your weight goes with it because your body is compensating for your schedule. So you're looking at weight loss is not about going to the gym more, and it's not about eating less. It's about a whole ecosystem of harmony. And if you don't get that harmony together, any results you gain is temporary. And until you have that whole system working together, what you'll find is that you won't actually be able to maintain that growth, that consistency, and that goal.
Fire. Next slide.
Rules, laws, culture, and the perspective theory, part 2.
Oh man, this is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. Let's go to the next slide after this.
We think we make rational business decisions, but most our choices are driven by psychology, fear of punishment, laws, desire for order, rules, and fear of rejection, culture.
Okay. Man, I wish I could just take Nana's brain and put it in my head right now, because I'd be able to explain it just a little bit better than but because this is so fucking deep and important. If we go back, don't do it, but like going back to the other slides, and if we talking about human nature and how we think as humans and what prevents us from moving out of the spaces that we're in financially, with our weight, with our health, with our friendship, with our psychology, the room that you're stuck in is this room.
Man, come on, that's so real.
Nobody's forcing you to do any of this shit. You're stuck because you choose to follow either rules, laws, or culture. You choose to follow this. And I know you like, I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be this. I don't want to have fucked up relationships. I don't want to keep running into the same bullshit partners. I don't want to. But you consciously don't want to. But unconsciously, because of your choice to follow certain rules, laws, and culture, you're entrapping your own self. And that's crazy. Like if you if you decide that you don't, I'm gonna ask this question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. How many people smoke weed? How many weed smokers we got? Be honest. Shit. None in the room?
I'm more of a fentanyl guy.
He said he's more of a fentanyl guy. Damn. Okay. Occasionally. So if
Somebody.
you're in a room with a few people, some friends, some not, and they spark something, boom, psh, and you trying to quit. Is it easy or hard to say, no, I'm good? Depends. Man, it was so hard for me. Man, come on. I'm just being real. When I smoked, the period of time between me quitting for good and the time where I smoked, if I'm in a room with people smoking weed and they fire up and that smell smells good, and the peer pressure of somebody passing it, and you see it going around and you see it coming to you. Fuck it, just this one time. That's the truth.
Yeah, it's true, Tony. True deed.
It's because even though I tried to change my rules, I didn't change my culture. So the culture won. Culture won.
Every time.
How many people, anybody got tempers here? How many cusser outers we got? Or people ready to fight somebody? Y'all bullshitting me up in here. Especially you, Tennille. I know all your stories. Tennille was a windmill queen. Tennille was a windmill queen. We know it. So now I got to keep giving my examples. Y'all cold blooded. So when I had a temper problem and I committed myself to change my rules around it because it was unproductive for me to behave in that manner, and I really wanted to change. I remember my ex-wife was like, she's like, why are you walking in here with a black eye? You 30. You 30. I'm like, because it wasn't my fault. He did it. He started it. He said this. So I tried to change my rules. But there's certain laws and there's certain rules of the culture that if you say X, then it's up. If you say this, then it's automatic. You see what I'm saying? So if I adopted the culture, but I tried to change my rules, there's a conflict, and once something's gonna win. So if I say I'm not gonna do this no more. I'm not gonna do this, and somebody says "fuck you, bitch," well, it's up.
Well, you said you want to die.
You still like so do you want to change your mentality around the culture or not? Now I've seen somebody at a baseball game tell I'll say Beverly Hills looking white dude and his girlfriend, "fuck you, bitch," and he said, "So?" You know why? Because he doesn't adopt the culture. He don't follow the rules of the culture, so that doesn't offend him. There's nothing for him. You see what I'm saying? So we are trapped by our own rules. I tried to get out the door of the rules that I have for myself to have a better life, but I closed it back because of the culture.
Can I ask a question? Because I have a temper, and I don't fight no more. It's been over almost 2 decades since I've gotten to a physical
You fight
altercation.
for fun now.
No.
Stop it.
Bruh,
No.
What the fuck you talking about?
bruh, come on.
Wait,
I'm looking at her like,
You fight
No,
karate.
I do martial arts. Martial arts and fighting are two different things.
which is just organized neat fighting.
That's fighting and shaking
No.
hands afterwards. Like,
Martial arts is a practice of an art to master a technique with rules and
oh my God.
regulations.
Are you kicking people or not? Are you punching people or not?
Listen, Linda, listen.
Okay. Go ahead.
Gosh. Lucky I do this or I'll be punching y'all. Look.
See?
All right. I said what I said. So I got a temper, right? But what I tried to do is because I know I have a temper, right? So like I created a safe, healthy outlet where I didn't have to go knock people out on the street. I'm like, you know what? I need to have a physical outlet to be able to handle all these intense energies that I have, right? So I signed up for a martial art where in that culture, these particular things are okay. I would never go outside of my school and go punch and kick somebody because that's like literally against the rules and culture. But for example, like I had, listen, stop.
Okay. I'm listening.
I don't like y'all. Anyways, this is my level of on-ramping to getting better, okay, y'all? Leave me alone. Let me have this. So, but I came from a past where, like, everyone in my family would literally, like, physically fight or, like, go from 0 to 10. So then, like, my on-ramp process was like, okay, like, in addition to like my working out, my meditating, my changing my patterns in my lifestyle, I'm also going to remove violent people from my life. So people that are ready to pop off or always fighting, like I'm not going to surround myself with those people. Or I'm not going to go to environments where that's common. Like I don't go out to the club. I don't go to parties. I'm like, a good time for me is my bed and a book, a puzzle. Like that's what, because I do come from a hyper like, what you say to me? Like that was my life growing up. So not saying it's not still in me. Like I was the first to shoot my hand up when you asked, but I also think that like when we talked about like on ramping with like dieting or any kind of change, like there's like levels to you get to where some point, I mean, I really like martial arts. So I don't know if I would scale myself out of that because it's a fun physical practice for me. That's not from a space of violence, but from a space of meditation. But like, what do you say to like the people that have changed their like day-to-day culture and their rules, but they come from things that pull them back in? Like I can't spend time around my family. It's a wrap.
I think that's a great point, and it nods to the curation of your environment. We're only on this planet a finite amount of time. We don't have all the time, hundreds and hundreds of years to iron out every flaw we have perfectly. Don't. So if we're on this pace to be successful, there's some things that you have to lock up. There's some things that you have to stay away from. There's some things. There's apps on my phone that I can't even get on. I paid for the service to cut me off. So there's not. Sometimes you don't. So in certain situations, I'm just like you. I places I just won't go. I can't go. I haven't fixed that part about myself yet over here, so I don't even fuck with it. I don't care how fine you are. If you a combative person, I will disappear like Batman. You look to the right and look back, and I'm gone. Cause I can't do that shit. Fern, no. I can't do it because you're gonna trigger something in me that I haven't fixed yet. So you got like in your journey, you have to do that. When Michael Jordan first came into the league, they didn't know he didn't have a left hand. He didn't have a left. And he couldn't shoot threes. Most people didn't know that because he hid his weaknesses very well. And then in the off season, once they exposed him for it, in the off season, he worked like hell to fix it. So then they created their defenses to that weakness that he had last year, and he torched their ass again. Then when they found out he couldn't shoot, he spent that time learning how to shoot threes. So that's us as humans. So hell yeah, that's a great strategy. Stay away from some shit. Stay away from some shit. Next slide. I think there's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Humans are wired for conformity. We follow culture and rules because our brains equate belonging with survival.
Okay.
100%.
So our natural propensity to conform and be accepted is what pulls you. That's the magnetism to make you want to hit that even when you told yourself no. That makes you want to do something that's against the rule you created in your head, but the cultural norm pulled you in. You have to be able to maneuver amongst all three of those and get good at being able to maneuver amongst all three of those. I don't give a shit what the rules are. I don't care what the culture is. This is what's best. This gives me the best results. Period. So I'm doing it. Period. Give me the best results. So if I got to look like the square tonight, I'm the square. I'm a square. Gladly a square. Oh, Court, you a square. Yeah. Yep. For sure I am. So, and you have to really continue to grow on what your cultural root, your what your culture are. You have to be willing to bend it. If you're building something big and you have some minds that are out there, cultural minds that are out there, you gonna step on them. And guess what happens a lot of times is the shit that you want to stay away from, sometimes that comes to you. You say, hey, I'm fine until somebody says the N-word, and then it's up. Well, damn. It's just going to happen to where somebody's going to say, now what? Now what? And you built something big. You built something into 6-digit. You built something. You got momentum, and somebody calls you the N-word with the hard R. Now what you going to do? I got to be loyal to my cultural norms, my cultural rules. I got to do it. That means you stuck in that room. Don't complain. You stuck in that room. And nobody locked you in, you locked yourself in. Entrepreneurship is not a black people do this, we do this, they do that. Here's our rules. That entrepreneurship is not that.
Come on, bro. Come on.
It's not that. So you got to get comfortable with being fluid and being a results oriented person and being able to divorce anything, any and everything. That's why sometimes we're not fucking prophets. We know that it doesn't get results. I don't care how popular that shit is, but that doesn't scale. Mm-hmm. So I don't care how many millions of views people is getting. I know I could do the math and know that this is not scalable. Mm-hmm. So now I gotta look like the asshole for 4 years. So I'm sitting waiting for this shit to die down. I know it will, but for 4 years I gotta look like an asshole. What's your pronoun? None. What's your pronoun? None. None. Well, let me educate you on pronoun. This is an educational moment for Courtney. I had to go through that shit. None, bro. I told you I don't know enough about it. Stop talking to me about it. Well, everybody come in. It's a teachable moment.
STFU, bruh.
So, like, okay, I know this isn't scalable. So I'm not following your culture or your rules. I'm not doing it. I love you guys. I love all y'all, but I'm not doing that. So when you start playing that game, the results game, your culture, your rules will change. Your culture, you start building and creating your own culture when you play the results game. Next slide.
Entrepreneurs rewire this instinct. They learn to tolerate rejection, ignore ridicule, and lean into being different.
Come on, bud. So you learn to tolerate being the asshole. You learn to tolerate being rejected. People are going to ridicule you because the culture, that it's a natural thing for the culture to punish you for not adhering to the culture. It's natural. So that's what comes with it. That's what comes with it. But entrepreneurship is we lean into it. We lean into it. We lean into it. Next slide.
Opportunity equals social friction. If people are laughing, doubting, or saying that's not how we do things, that's usually where the biggest breakthroughs lie.
Okay, now we about to talk some real magic. Some real game. So think about this for a second. In a culture where everybody is, that's been built over a course of time. Don't you think that culture's been ran through?
Why you say it like that?
It's just, come on, blood. You already know.
Pause, pause, pause.
Can you
Hey,
Paul?
yo.
That's female. That's female. That's like all the new opportunity, all the opportunities, big ideas, business ideas, money ideas, rules, establishments. It's a culture that's been built over time, right? So a lot of times it's ran through. It just is. So if you want to step into a culture and be successful, you have to either come up with some new technology, be like you really have to work hard in that already established, already built culture. True story. A lot of the opportunities and money is made when there's social friction. Because 99% of the world is shunning that side. They're not fucking with it for whatever reason. Or whatever rules they built up, they ignored it. They got immune to it. So if you're comfortable with friction and you're comfortable with rejection and you lean into being different, you're sitting there looking at new opportunities sometimes. Like, oh, and nobody's paying attention? Oh, because everybody's stuck following the rule of this particular culture. This is huge. Fucking huge. Next slide. Oh, okay. Let's go back one more, just real quick. So I want to just double down on the fact that a lot of the opportunities, if you're entrepreneur and you're looking for what we call it, is that Blue Ocean? No. What's that book? Blue Ocean Strategies? Yeah, if you're looking for blue ocean strategies, meaning pockets of opportunity, you cannot look for blue ocean strategies and opportunities inside of a established culture. You have to be on the fringes. You have to be on the outside. You have to be looking at it from a different perspective. You got to be rejected. That's why entrepreneurs kind of quirky, kind of off, different. I don't know how many times I hear, man, people hating people being like, man, I knew him. He was a nerd back then. Nobody was fucking with him. And he built this bit. That's because you got to be a little off. You got to be comfortable with rejection a little bit. You was the cool kid. Yes, so you didn't have to think through shit like that because you were already accepted.
No, I was not.
So think about that. So some of you is not, some of your opportunities or lack of revenue generation is not because your ideas aren't good or you're not smart. Some of it is just you're looking in inside of a culture that's so well established, it ain't not much room for you. When you can step out and be like, oh, there's a pain point here for a lot of people. What's the fallout of this culture? What's the fallout? What's coming out the exhaust of this culture? What are some of the dark spaces because of this culture? Like, there's opportunities there. Well, everybody drinks this in this culture. So you're going to come up with a drink to compete with the culture, or you're going to come up with a drink that helps them recover faster from drinking that same thing.
Hennessy.
You feel me? So, next slide.
4 zones of genius.
So now we're in the book. The 15 commitments.
Incompetence. What areas do others do better than you? Competence. What work do you do that others can do just as well or better? Excellence. What do you do better than everyone else? Genius. Which aspect which aspects generate the highest ratio of positive results compared to time spent, what work you do, so love doing what that is doesn't seem like work.
Okay. So what this slide is there's 4 different zones. One zone is incompetence. That means a lot of people do it better than you. A lot of people do it better than you. Next one is competence, meaning on average, you can do it on average like everyone else, whatever that thing is. Excellence is that you do it better than most people, almost everybody. You're excellent at it. And then there's zones of genius where it's easy to you. You see other people work so hard at it, but it's easy to you. And when you do it, it's effortless. It doesn't seem like work. Mm-hmm. Now, what a lot of entrepreneurs will do sometimes is they'll pick something that either they think makes a lot of money or a lot of other people are doing and making money, or that's a quick lick, without understanding where this lies within them. So if this lies in their space of incompetence, where they just not that good, they'll be bumping their head up against a wall their whole career, because for every one step they take, somebody who is that's in their genius category, that person be taking 13 steps, and you'll never be able to compete in that industry. Now, there's ways you possibly could if you had the resources to hire somebody who that was their zone of genius. But in retrospect to what we're talking about, you got to play the game where what you're doing, you're at the level of excellence. There's people who know that they're genius in this, but I want to make money doing this because I want to do it my way. This is boring to me. This is so easy to me. I don't want it. And they got tons of money and resources sitting, waiting for them, but it's too easy. I'm bored doing it. But I'm going to choose this thing that's hella hard for me and still think that I can make it. Mm-hmm. No. What is that? That's called hustling backwards. Go ahead, grab that mic. I can see the...
I'm so confused.
Just hit that button.
So it's your screen.
Okay. Yes?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so I was with you, and then I was lost, and then you started talking more, and I was like, okay, you're getting to my question, and then I got lost again. So maybe I have like a rebuttal to what you're saying. Not a rebuttal, but like we could talk through it. So to your point about like this excellence or genius caliber or like zone. So like for me, marketing and like what I do like in my corporate job is very, very easy. Like it's not hard. I can do it in my sleep, but it's very, very stressful and I don't like it. But I do it because you have to pay your bills and all the other things. Mm-hmm. However, the reason that I got into floral in the first place, floral design, was because I used to hate flowers, for one. Like I just thought they died, which I now like think very opposite. I think that flowers are very symbolic of life and they help you to stay present. So now I think very differently. But when I first got into flowers, I got into it because it was something that I had no idea how to do. And I was very much like, let me try this. And I was terrible. And that motivated me to like keep going to classes and boot camps and get better. And now I feel like I've continued to get better, and I like really want to do this. But I feel like it's slightly contradictory to what you're saying, because I don't know, I feel like the flowers are like where I thrive and I love them, but it's the opposite of what I sat in this like excellence space in previously. But to what you just said, it very much sounded like, okay, if you're incompetent in this, like you should not be in this space because you're gonna hit a wall because your competition is outranking you every time. But I feel like for me, I use the incompetence is what fueled me to get out of that quote unquote zone and get better. Does that make sense?
Absolute sense. I appreciate it. Yeah. So there's a couple, I guess, nuances to what you're saying. So the slight differences are your job that you have is what makes a living. Don't quit that, especially if it's easy for you and you can do it in your sleep. That provides your living so that you can build your dream. And as long as I'm glad that there's stress there and it gets on your nerves, because that gives you some push to get the fuck up out of there at some point, right? So that's we're level set on that. That's solid. But when it comes to what you want to build as an entrepreneur, like if you want to make this thing your living, right? We talked about the hard work that it's going to require, especially if you started in competence. You're going to have to work hard to get to a place where it seems like genius. Or there's a level that you can get to where now you can compete with whoever's out there and you can generate revenue to make you a living, right? So the question is, are there people out there in your world that doesn't need school, classes, nothing? They just seem like natural and they can just put stuff together in this, and it's gorgeous. And for every 10 bouquets or whatever floral arrangement they put together, like only one of yours could compete. That's the way the game works, right? Now, it doesn't mean that if you really love what you're doing that you can't keep getting better and one day simulate excellence or simulate genius. What this book is suggesting is that if you don't have a job and you're trying to get into this entrepreneurship space and you're trying to sustain yourself so that you can survive and live, stop fucking going to places where you know that you're a 1 when you're a 10 over here, and you can build this over here to be a platform for you to grow. Okay. And so our thought process is like, we're trying to play this 1% game, right? This less than 1% game. Let's not make the game harder for ourselves because we want it this way. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like I've designed things and everybody loves this thing, but I love this thing. And I'm like, how come they don't do like this? No, make more of these.
Yeah, don't project onto the market.
Don't project onto the market, but also don't project onto the market with your abilities, because you might be trash, and you might be trash for a long time. And so, again, finite amount of time we have here. So try to play the game towards where you lean, where it's easy, towards your genius. All right, Joe. Oh.
Can I ask a question before you go, Court?
I also wanted to just kind of speak to this genius thing isn't really about happiness, right? Or like what you get fulfillment out of.
Nah, man, like, I'm not going to.
Because nothing on there is about like, oh, I enjoy this.
Nah,
this is
man,
about what you're good at and what you make, can be successful from. So you may not enjoy the thing that you're good at as far as like, oh, it makes me happy. But to the point of entrepreneurship, it's going to get you further faster, so to speak, right?
Bro, I'm an artist. I tag, I paint, acrylic, I make music, I rap, I do all kind of artist stuff. You know how much artist stuff I do now as an entrepreneur?
That's exactly what
3%, 4%. I do all the shit that I ran away from. Thinking, That's what I do now. Thinking, strategy, like numbers, money, like that's just how the game. I don't enjoy a lot of that shit. I enjoy the results of it.
You kind of just answered. You kind of answered it. I was just going to ask, like, I have my gym business and I love it and I'm passionate and purpose about it. But, like, my genius zone is creativity, like all creative things, but it's not what my business is in. But you kind of just answered that. Yeah. So, thank you.
All right, y'all.
You know what's funny? We need to create more days off of court. Because he was on fire tonight. I even text Sydney. I was like, Sydney, like, when you just clock it. Let's put that on. Put that on the internet. He was his opening monologue. Like it froze me. I was like, damn, he's killing it tonight. So, wait a minute. Why am I at the bottom of the screen? You got to fix the camera or something? Am I right, or it might be my? Oh, okay, no, it's no. When you grab your you grab your tablet and you overexpand it. So when I expanded, all I saw was top of my hat. I'm like, is that what we're doing tonight? So just show up for top of my hat? Like, yeah, Oakland's saying this shit right here. Second thing, I just want to say, I consider this my official niece, Jazzy, came to hang out with me this evening. She's been riding with me for a long time. And I don't know if you guys pay attention. She's had a growth spurt. So I went to hug her today, and I was like, what happened? It would seem like the last time I saw her, she was here. Now she's up here. So I just want to let her know I appreciate it. And check this out. She made me a special card for my birthday. So y'all understand this kind of stuff means a lot. Especially as y'all get older, you realize this means a lot. So tonight. If you have to record class or take notes, but tonight my goal is to try to burn a lot of calories in your brain. And in my goal to burn calories, I'm finally getting closer to some of the impacts of slavery, Jim Crow, and the crack era on the black community. For other communities, the impact of being labor class, poor, it's the same thing, right? I know a lot of times as black people, we want to feel like we want to have our own proprietary oppression. But the reality is that poverty creates similarities. And some of these similarities, there's students in that class of different races and different backgrounds. And why they often can relate so well is because they came from a working class family or they came from poor families. I know you guys haven't heard this in special news being reported straight from Hope, but all white people are not rich. I know that's hard to believe, people. I know, but I've seen it for myself. I witnessed them. I saw them asking for money. It was amazing. So the reality is that there's some things in class, like when you talk about certain things, but then we do have our special trauma. Like I asked a question. Here's a deep question to play with your thoughts and a philosophical question I posed. I said, for people, when would black people ever know they're free? Is it possible? Think about it, with all your trauma, it would just take anything to trigger you. How would you know you're free? Because the idea of freedom sometimes suggests that it should be easier, better, and more equitable. But equitable doesn't guarantee equality. And when you feel the friction of being an entrepreneur, a lot of times it triggers us. We think it's racism, we think it's unfair, we think it shouldn't be that way, when really that's how it is for all of us who decide to climb this mountain. And so a lot of things for black folks, we do have special categories that we have to talk about because quite often, it's like, if you say, well, America should give us freedom, well, what would that look like? What more would that look like? Well, they should buy me a house. You think that'll work? Like, what does that look like? Have you noticed that when people earn something, they take care of it more? Anybody ever gave you a car, your first car? Did you take care of it the same as when you had to spend, when you spent some real money on a car? When you spent that real money in the car, it was going to the car wash every week. When somebody gave you a car, man, hey, hold on a second, let me pull up to this garbage can so I throw this trash out. it was totally different, right? The rules are different. So part of our equitable experience in America is going to come from our engagement, our efforts, and our returns from our investments, not from somebody else welcoming us to our own freedom. Freedom is something that we take, we never ask for. I would never sit at a table with you and sit in front of a group of white men and be like, yeah, and we want to ask for more freedom. I'm not going to sit at that table. I'm going to be on the sideline eating and snacking, watching y'all going back and forth because it doesn't make sense to me, right? To me, freedom is something that you have to take, you have to protect, you have to establish, you have to reinvest in. Freedom is not a destination. Freedom is an act. It's a group of habits. By the way, court was on fire tonight. Let me just say it one more time. Court was on fire. I want to add one small thing that, as he's talking about this, is that here's something you can go home and audit. Do me a favor, those of you who can hear my voice, those of you in class, can you go home and audit your habits and ask yourself, are your habits aligned to where you want to go? Because I think that's the thing with education is that, what I discovered in this class, there are some people in this class who are they have a great memory. They can tell me everything I've ever said in class. Their habits said they ain't never fuck with me. Do your habits align with where you want to go? If it doesn't, because even like some of these psychological challenges that we're trying to overcome, some of those challenges seem insurmountable because we have not changed our habits. It's just that simple. Change your habits and some of that shit will just take care of itself. You don't need to sit with some dude in a suit and you lay down on another couch. Just change your goddamn habits. And I would suggest to you, go home and study I promise you, your brain, because your brain is just as adaptable as your body, when you change your habits, over time, your brain adapts to those habits. But if your habits are literally, I'm going to all my friends' parties, I'm going to all these events, I go to this club here, I'm going to be in New Orleans on this week here, I'm going on a cruise with the other parties, I'm going to South America, then I got to make sure that I give my friend some time because she needs to talk to me every once in a while, then I got to make sure that I get my drink on, my party on, then I got to work crazy work hours, and then I'm going to work on my hope shit. Okay. That means you're really wasting your time sitting up in this goddamn classroom. Your habits have to align with your desires. So it's a simple audit, but it's aligned with everything we're saying. Just go home and just audit your habits. Like for a whole week, just start writing down your habits. Just do a journal of your habits. And then when you step back and look at your habits, be like, ask yourself, is these habits aligned with where I want to go? Because sometimes it's like, I was at the gym. I was at the gym with Murphy, and we at the gym, we're working out. And there's one dude, he's on a machine. And we at the gym, dude lifting weights. He's on a machine. And he's doing this, he got the cable with the cable that has a little notch at the end, and he's doing this little turn weight, right, at the machine. And I look at Murphy, I said, he's gonna go home and told his wife he lifted weights. But the problem is he only had like 10 to 20 pounds doing this, turning his waist, okay? He could have just put a book bag on his shoulder and did the shit. You're at the gym. Now, he's going to say to you when you see him and to himself, today I went to the gym and worked out.
Oh, baby.
I'm going to be the devil on his shoulder going, no, the fuck you didn't. The reality is that so many of us, what you'll find is that when people state, I work out, I study, I work hard, how that looks is all over the place. There's a lot of people that tell you, I go gym 5 days a week. If I was to go there and audit their training, I would tell them, you are wasting 5 days a week. Take your ass home. Because really, if you don't have resistance, you're not getting anything. And it can't be, well, this is more uncomfortable than me not doing it at all, so this is a workout. It has to be, goddamn, holy Jesus, somebody pray for me. If you're not moving weights like that, you're really at the gym just maybe you having a social hour, maybe you hunting, I don't know. But the reality is that you're going to tell yourself, no, I work out hard. I don't understand why I don't see results. I don't understand why my life is not a certain way. I don't understand. Because it's so subjective. So a lot of us are like, yo, I'm really working hard on being an entrepreneur. Are you? Are you just pushing 10 pounds?
Is your habits really like, go to the gym or you're on your cell phone, you're putting your sweat in, or you do a set and you sit there for 2 minutes or 3 minutes and just Or are you like certain people in the gym where they're like, there's a young lady that comes to our class every once in a while. If you ever watch Sharon work out, now Shakina does the same thing, but I never watch her work out because she's over there messing with small people. But because she's always showing people how weak they are compared to her. So I'm so busy going, I'm looking at this story just unfold. But if you ever watch Sharon work out, what made me friends with her is the first day I saw her, I said, I'm not fucking with you. Her workout was so vicious that I thought if I did that workout, I would throw up. Now, mind you, she does a different kind of workout than Shakina's closer to my workout. Sharon's more or less like she can go in the room, have 4 weights, and she goes to work for a whole hour, right? Even her man that she's with right now, that dude's 58 and looks like he's 35. He's chiseled. And if you see that man work out, it's almost like a horror movie unfolding in front of your face. If you work out like that, it's hard for me to imagine that you have to talk about it the way you talk about it. It just shows. It's going to show. But many of us say, I work out. And I promise you, if you watch, look at the gym, I go behind so many people and I see dudes over there, 30 pounds, dog.
Killing me.
30. My daughter damn near could do 30 pounds like that. And they be making the faces and shit. All the.
Just soft.
So I'm just saying, you guys, like, this applies to human behavior. I told Murphy, I said, Murphy, this is really a study of human behavior. How in our minds we think we're all doing the same thing, but we're drastically different in our application. And so where you can start by seeing the differences of how you show up, go home and audit your habits. It's a low area. How you get up in the morning? What do you do? And ask yourself, how much of this is tied to my growth? Or how much of it is tied to other things? Could you be locked up in the culture, law, and rules? Let's go. Let's get in that first slide because I'm ready to get busy. All right, before we get started, how many of you guys understood abstract thinking? And online, if you want something to add, I'll make sure Shakina read your portion. How many of you guys understood abstract thinking? Raise your hands. You're like, I get it. I totally get it. Okay, once you raise, who else got understood abstract thinking? Anybody else? That's okay. I don't know what that face was. I need you to put your hand down, Josh. You know, it would never count. Anyway, that's a cold statement. You will never count. But okay, pass that man the mic. Okay. So your interpretation of abstract thinking.
My interpretation would be anything that's like not concrete or tangible in a sense. Things that you can't maybe measure or be very direct about, I would say. So abstract is like things that, I'm trying to think of an example. I want to say more emotional or feeling based things that, because I felt this way, or that X factor that you can't really put into a formula or calculate. That level of thinking of like, how will my idea take form after it's out of my hands and beyond what I can predict or plan, and being able to think about that and include that in your business is what I think abstract thinking.
You went in the right direction, and 80% of what you said was correct. Then you do some 20% wrongs up in there. You can't measure certain things that are abstract. Love is abstract. Can't see it. Tell me last time you saw love walking around. Now you might say that's my love, but I'm saying, can you see? Like, somebody says I love you. The reason sometimes we ask over and over, do you love me? You can't see it, right? No, anything that you say, anything that you can't see that's not concrete. Your first part of your answer was perfect. You could almost stop right there. It's things that are not concrete. This is going to be very important. Why is this important? So go back to this black thing I opened up my monologue with. Do you know that people who are labor are horrible at abstract thinking? Go to a barbershop, start an abstract dialogue, and watch them try to ground it with a concrete association. Somebody say, for example, you may go in there and try to express a abstract idea, and people are like, oh, that's too much. It's gonna be this or that. All I know is gonna pay my rent or not, right? That's the problem with that is that when you've been to labor force, you didn't have to think abstract. Managers have to think abstract. The workers don't have to think abstract. Leaders have to think abstract, and there's different layers to abstract. Let's open this first. Let me get my slide so I get my slides on point 2. Hold on a second. 1 second. I don't know what Josh just said, but I'm going to ignore him. All right, let's start with the first one.
Abstract thinking review.
So, I guess I wanted these as separate slides, but let's just do it with the first one bullet point at a time.
Building abstract thinking.
So after class, a lot of people came to me and said to me, how do I gain abstract thinking? Abstract thinking is not what you learn, it's what you build. It's a muscle of thought, a way of thinking. I can teach 5 classes on abstract thinking, and you still are a beginner, elementary, and will miss hella shit. You won't even be robust enough on how to move things around mentally in a way to actually achieve a goal. So first thing is me introducing this concept of abstract thinking to you is introducing a form of thinking that leads to innovation. It leads to creating things that don't exist. It leads to higher levels of leadership manifestation. It leads to redesigning reality as you know it. That's what abstract thinking is at its core. But when you first hear about it, the curiosity should spark the journey. Let me say this again. The curiosity should spark the journey. Meaning that once you say, this sounds like something very, very cool. As you go down this road more, as your muscle gets stronger and stronger and stronger, you'll see more things. You'll understand more complexities. Because have you ever met somebody who talk statistics? Like somebody who studies statistics? Statistics. Yeah, that's just yeah. Well, you understand me. So if that person goes on a rant in their field of studies, if you're trying to follow along, you can't. If somebody's trained in abstract thinking and they start to go on a rant of abstractions, if you're not trained in abstractions, they will lose you within 1 minute. Those of us who are playing strategical roles, we have to live in abstractions all the time. 510 Media makes most of our money from abstractions, not from concrete things. And so a lot of people don't understand abstractions is the foundation of strategical thinking. Let me go to the next bullet point real quick.
Importance of exercise.
So, anybody heard a word called neurogenesis before? So neurogenesis is this thing where when you exercise, your brain produces neurons. And you know what those neurons do when you exercise? Which I've just learned this recently. I know I act like I knew this in a long time. Because I experience neurogenesis all the time when I go on bike rides. If you guys ever heard me say, when I go on a bike ride, I'm able to solve more problems on a bike ride than any other time, that's actually a mental thing of how your brain works. When you're exercising, we all these years like exercise. If you want to be an entrepreneur, exercise, right? But the foundation of being an excellent entrepreneur is abstract thinking. Your brain can't even engage in abstract thinking if you don't exercise. You won't be able to grow that far in it. You can grow somewhere, but not that far into it. Because abstract thinking eats up like what happens when you're exercising is through neurogenesis, your brain starts to connect ideas. So imagine you taking all this data through the day, your brain goes, hey, this and this here goes together, or this and this goes together. Your brain, now mind you, if you're busy throughout the day, you never make those connections. But literally while you're running or you're cycling or you're working out some kind of way, as you're going through, your brain goes, wait a minute. You get all these aha awakening moments, and your brain starts to put all together and then especially if you're engaging in a process of abstractions, your brain starts to connect the pieces of the puzzle to build a more robust, complex version of abstract thinking. So if you don't exercise, this ain't for you. If you're into why I don't like exercising, that's cool. I'm not here to tell you that your life is useless outside of Josh. But for the rest of you guys, the way this stuff works is that if you're not exercising all the time and you want to engage in abstract thinking, there is a limitation. We discovered that at FIT Media. When me and Mashama first got together, marketing is an act of abstractions, right? Marketing is full of abstractions. So we saw ourselves become mentally lazier, slower, and we weren't as robust in our thinking, and we had slower access. Me and Mashama both have this high level of exercising, right? That plays off in our ability to sit in a room and take ideas that don't exist and pull them apart to be able to actually produce something. You know who's a cold-blooded abstract thinker? Our architect. They're not even looking at they're not even touching them. They're not touching any materials. They're not at the location. They're literally using abstract thought to build what that house should look like based upon its engineering capabilities, possibilities, and be able to give you a piece of paper that gets signed up by the city, which is also an abstract process to say, this is what your house is going to look like. You say, what, did you go out there and like put some nails and hammer some stuff and lay some brick? No. I am an advanced abstract thinker where I can actually build reality in my head that you can manifest in reality. Think about this as business. So as an abstract thinker, you can literally, before you put money, time, and energy into something, you can literally manifest it in your mind through your abstract thinking before the investment, and then be able to manage it into existence. The reason some of you guys can't do that is because, well, you have never developed that muscle. Well, why? There's two things. One, it's connected to our history. Our culture is not very abstract. We don't have a lot of abstract ownership. We can't get rid of the N word. That's obvious. We don't have a lot of abstract ownership, right? Number two, another thing that we suffer from is lack of movement. Do you realize that only 10% of America lift weights? Now, there's more people who go to the gym, but only 10% of America actually lift real weights. The benefits are crazy for aging. A lot of people go to the gym and they do all this stuff, and it might be packed, and they might be in there dancing and shit, you know, doing Zumba. What's the other stuff you do, Pilates, Josh? Anyway, what is this? Is that whatever you're doing at the gym, yoga, that's right, yoga. Yeah, the naked kind, right? But anyway, what is this? And so, but the reality is that, so the reality is that
I'm out.
most people are not moving in a way. That's why a lot of high-end managers and high-end leaders, they go running. They do these things that force their brain to produce, to engage in neurogenics so it can be advanced in their abstract thinking. Abstract, so we're going to keep going into this. All right, let's read the next paragraph.
If concrete thinking is about knowing what is,
So that's what you said earlier. So if concrete thinking is about knowing what is, hear that phrase. If concrete thinking, this is black people at our best. I want you to see our culture. Like, if you know black culture, this is us. If concrete thinking is about knowing what is, keep going.
abstract thinking is about imagining what could be.
You see that huge separation? Like, you can't impress the people if they're excellent in abstract thinking. They're already one step ahead. When you're moving from what is, your past, you know what I've been through, that's all what is. What could be is a whole different form of thinking. That's abstractions. Concrete is, I'm gonna tell you what I do know. I tell you what I've learned. I tell you who I am. I tell you my experience. I tell you what I've been doing all my life. I tell you who I've been. That's concrete. That's not abstraction. Is what about tomorrow? What's the future look like? What would you change right now to position you? Like, if I say let's get into business, reposition your business to give you a higher competitive edge. Everything from that point on has to be abstractions. You're not there. Tomorrow's not here. And at this point, as an architect, we have to design your future. But if you haven't developed that muscle, once again, it's a muscle you have to grow. It's not something you're going to learn. You don't read a book and you read all the books you want on abstraction. You still be like, I don't move like that yet. When you read abstraction books, it's going to feel like you're reading. It'll tangle you up on the fucking introduction. You look at the introduction, going, okay, wait, run that again. Wait, run it again. And even though every time you get a certain concept, it feels like you had to think for hours to get it. Like, God damn, you don't ChatGPT. Okay, explain it to me like a third grader. Okay, no, fuck it. Explain it to me like a baby. It gets really bad real fast. Okay, keep going.
It's the ability that separates a manager who simply follows a process from a leader who invents a new one. It's the skill that allows an artist to express emotion through a splash of paint and a scientist to predict the existence of a black hole long before it's ever seen.
Is that cold? Do you realize like a lot of astrologers are able to predict things about space that they never saw with their human eyes? That's a cold ass abstraction. Their brain got so strong that certain people were able to say, this is what it means. This is what a black hole is. This is what, how many, didn't even see it yet. That's abstractions. Like literally abstractions. If you're not developing that part of your brain, I promise. Okay, if I went into the public, if I went into the black community, say in the hood, and I found a group of people who were straight working class. I mean, they might have a job, might not. And I went into the community and just started using abstractions. It feels like I'm speaking a different language, and I can just be using the most simplest words in the world. Matter of fact, abstractions are hard to transfer from human to human. Because quite often we use these different tools to transfer it, whether it's mind mapping, whether it's examples, whether it's metaphor. We're using all these different things to transfer abstractions because it's just, if I say I love her, you say, what does that mean? Watch how if you say, I love this woman I'm with, I say, well, prove it. Watch how it's a struggle. It's not like, oh yeah, because I follow the rules of 7 rules of love. Like, it's difficult. I believe in culture. Oh, so tell me something. How many people know what culture is? Raise your hand. Everybody know? Damn, y'all know what culture is? Did I corner you? Okay. Even Josh knows what culture is. Josh, I ain't gonna stop. If Sydney was here, Sydney would get all the jokes because Sydney been messing with me lately.
I really do have a definition.
Huh?
I really do have a definition.
No, I know you do. So here's the funny part. How many of you guys, if you was to be able to go into a city, can recreate a culture? See the difference? Abstractions. Did you really understand it? Did you see it through the lens of concrete solidification of it, or did you understand it as an abstraction? I want freedom. Okay, everybody likes freedom, right? What does freedom look like? Abstractions. And how do you transfer abstractions to concrete? You see the breakdowns that's happening here? So you say, I believe in freedom, I want freedom. Okay, let's transfer it to a reality. See how much we don't own in this world of abstractions that we feel, because if you're more concrete, you think because you can speak to abstractions that you own them, but I'll say, okay, then let's do them. I say, hey, scale your company. Scaling is purely abstractions. I say, okay, cool. I'm a scale. Oh, okay, how you gonna do it? Huh? What'd you say? You gotta raise your voice. So, okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, most of us that went to school are brought up in a culture where we're expected to, or it's the desired outcome to know the answers to questions. And on the entrepreneur world, like in this class, for example, how you were just like, how many of y'all know or own this? Because of schooling, and you're like, really? None of y'all know this? Like, people, there's like a guilt association with not knowing. But then there's the opposite side of it where it's directly attacking the fake it till you make it culture of like being okay that you don't understand or own something. And so it's more important to acknowledge the lack of ownership so you have the opportunity to grow versus the guilt or shame of not knowing the thing. Can you speak to that? Because I feel like that happens a lot, and then people will build shame or not engage because they don't know the answer.
Yeah, but that's tied to us not feeling like we're good enough. A lot of people don't feel like they're good enough. And because the school has framed education as inferior versus superior, not knowing is a mintage of inferiority, and nobody's trying to do that. It's my job also to make sure that I need to move everybody in this class to a space of curiosity over status. And a lot of times if you're in this class and you're kind of like holding a space of status, unfortunately, it's hard to teach that kind of stuff. Also, I got to work on ways to on-ramp people to give them a sense of ownership, right? So, which leads into like next year, by the way. I haven't made this announcement yet, but I kind of give you a preview. We're not gonna have live classes for the public anymore. Now it'd be live classes for paid students, but the reason we can't do live classes for the public anymore because we're gonna work on ramping through exercises. And those exercises is considered online dead time, live dead time. It won't translate. But we want to get to a point where we can, like the class is actually going to be a working space for us to work through ideas and give you slow ownership. They call it scaffolding, where I give you small pieces of the puzzle and then we start removing certain points until you can stand on your own, right? So there will be new challenges for us as instructors. Also, I'm going to recruit some of you guys to help teach some of these classes because I think peers learn better from people right in front of them or a couple steps in front of them as opposed to Court is definitely starting to cross over. I'm even hearing it because his lessons sound different. His thinking sounds different. And we have a value, but there's certain things I think like the intro, the first part of class, I think some of you guys can teach it better because you guys can talk to the students from, you guys still remember the pains, the ouch, the gotchas, right? We've been teaching it so many times that it just baked in shit. It just is what it is. So there's gonna be a lot of those small changes to kind of speak towards that sense of discomfort that we have to pay attention to and be sensitive to. But a lot of that's tied to one of our jobs in this class is to get you to a space where remove the desire to be perfect and realize that you're in a class of creating perfection and you only gonna get there from embracing the mistakes, embracing that what you don't know. But if we start participating and protecting that rhythm and that culture, then we really can't teach you anything. So yes.
Last bullet point.
So go ahead. Yeah, next sentence. Yeah.
Both concrete and abstract thinking are necessary.
So both are necessary. Being concrete thinker is necessary, but without abstractions, it's limiting. Go ahead.
Concrete thinking is for execution. Abstract thinking is for innovation. The goal is to master both.
So execution. So for example, let's say we're working on something, right? And I'm working with a big staff. Say when I used to do whole big shoots. If I actually had to do a shoot, I got to do a lot of concrete decision making. You get you over here, have this set up, redundancy here, redundancy there, customer experience. Do we have these things in place? Da, 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 da. But there's an abstract part, which is how do people feel? What am I managing? How am I dealing with people's emotions? What is this signaling? Should it be red or blue? What does blue mean versus red? Like all these different variables are part of these abstractions that's informing the concrete, and I'm mixing the two together. Where sometimes people miss opportunities, they over leverage the concrete, and they get frustrated when they get a response from the abstraction. So let's say you make a person a perfect meal, but you don't think about how to place it on a plate because a plate creates an abstract perception of the food. But because you know that you worked really, really hard, provided great food, you're mad because they don't value as much as this other restaurant where the food is not the same quality, but they manage the abstractions. The marketing is different. The design of the space is different. The lighting's different. The silverware is different. All that is going after these communicating these certain ideas to you that if I say to you, look, everything they're designing is going to change your perception. Now we're into abstractions of what that is, right? And so owning like how that person's going to feel, how they're going to engage it, how they're going to interpret it, how they're going to communicate it, how this is going to shape their whole experience around it, as opposed to, hey, I gave you everything you needed. This is all the nutrients. It tastes the way you want it to taste. It's cool, right? Like there's restaurants I know right now that are hole in the walls. It's hard to get those places to become popular because they don't manage the abstractions, which is think about why are people coming to your space? How do they feel? And how can you speak to those feelings in your design of your space? Why is that color more important than this color? Those are abstractions, right? But if you're into the concrete, you're like, hey, the place is nice, clean, is neat, nice place to sit. Ain't no crime around here. Ain't no violence, ain't no roaches. I don't see why people tripping. Competition understands abstractions. You're too concrete. All right, so I'm going to come back to abstractions a little bit later, but we're going to get into next subject because this is all leading us to game theory. trade-offs. This is an abstraction. This is a major abstraction for us to get into game theory. You got to understand trade-offs. Or if you don't understand trade-offs, I promise you when I get to game theory, you're missing half the game. Like you're literally on the wrong side. You're like a fan talking about, I know the game. Okay, let's get into this trade-off. Let's go.
Why trade-offs matter. Scarcity of resources. Time, money, relationships, and energy are all limited. Every yes is automatically a no to something else. Trade-offs make us conscious of what we are sacrificing.
So for everything decision you make, because remember, I would say we can do time, attention, money, and energy is limited, right? For everybody. Every decision you make, all the yeses you say is no to something else. All the no's you say is yes to something else. When you win, you lose something. When you make money, you create expense, right? For example, when I got my BMW i7, I called Pastor Chris. We had a conversation on trade-offs. Does these trade-offs make any sense? I live in East Oakland, right? So you buy a car like that, you got crime. But also when you buy that kind of car, even though, it's at least every 3 years, so I switch up cars. But tires have to be replaced at least once. That's my responsibility in those 3 years. You know how much my tires are for that car? $2,500 for the tires, right? Because the tires have insulation built inside the tires, right? What happens when your insurance? My insurance went up a certain amount of, so it went up from $200 a month to almost, it went up to one something a month to like $250 a month, right? Like once you start looking at all the trade-offs, you start looking at I can't go everywhere. I can't get in that car and just go, I'm gonna run to these stores, right? Because if you open that door and hit that car, the cost of that scratch is not the same as cost of scratch on a Honda. Right? These are trade-offs. You got to think about every decision. I don't care how exciting, how fun, how enjoyable a decision is. There is a cost to all of your decisions. And I think where we get caught up in is that when we think about what we're excited about, we never think about the trade-offs. And sometimes the trade-offs will outweigh the excitement if you're able to own it. But sometimes we can't own it. We're like, yeah, I'm gonna have this. These things gonna work out. I'm gonna have this event. It's gonna look like this. But what are the trade-offs?
And you know how hard it is to do that when you really want something, because your brain's going to automatically default to, but it'll work out or it's good. So that is an art in itself.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, this is when your herd helps out, to Court's point. So when I'm excited about some new move, I'm always sharing it with somebody in my herd. The people in my herd that I know will say, give me feedback that won't, because I don't need people in my herd that give me cheerleader style feedback. You go, Nana. You know you're going to make it work. Well, you always done it before, right? I need people like Mashama and Courtney to say, bruh, but what about this? Pastor Chris, bruh, but what about that? If you don't have that consideration, a lot of times you'll get what you want and lose everything. Let me say this again. A lot of times you get what you want and you'll lose everything. Say it one more time. A lot of times you get what you want and lose everything. Keep going, Shakina.
Hidden cost. Decisions often come with opportunity cost. What you could have gained from the alternative path. Most people underestimate this.
Keep going.
Alignment with values. Trade-offs. Clarify what you value most. For example, prioritizing family over career advancement or vice versa shows where your true north lies.
This is cold. Entrepreneurs, you start your business. I work really hard to grow my business. And I love family. Which one? Which one? Which one? It's a fucked up question, but it's reality. Which one? Let's say you're on a 15-year run of running your business and your child moves 15 years. And you gave up all that time with your child for the business. Which one? It's trade-off. Everything's a trade-off. Okay, let's say I love my child, I spend all my time with my child. Okay, finances might be a little compromised. Which one do you want? These are real questions you got to ask, because you can play like time is unlimited and resources unlimited and energy is unlimited and attention is unlimited, and it's just fuck not. And once you understand, give me a second. Once you understand the impact of trade-offs, you realize that a lot of times you're lying to yourself because you refuse to look at the trade-off. I don't give a fuck how much conviction you have. I'm working so hard. Cool. It doesn't mean that you can't come up with, like, for example, let's say my mentor, when he's building his business, he would have these houses that were just frames. Guess who's in his houses sitting next to him doing their homework? His kids. He got off at 5 o'clock religiously. You know why? Because he's going to go spend a couple hours with his kids. All of his kids are high performers. But he understood that he didn't get to go from sun to sundown and have kids. Trade-offs. That's why a lot of times there's a certain point where you have these shots and these opportunities you can take, but do understand it's going to be a trade-off. And if you're going to do the trade-off, how do you subsidize that trade-off? But don't assume just because you want to do something, the universe will bend to your needs and wants and desires. Just because you don't see it, don't mean it ain't growing. Go ahead, Shkina.
Is it an illusion to have a balance for both? Like if family was important to you and you were growing a business, but you needed, you have to have an income to take care of your family. Like, is it possible to do both? Like, does it have to be one or the other?
This is Josiah's answer, because I don't want to be the person to carry the force of time, attention, money, energy. It's an illusion. What you have to say to yourself is, if you want to have both, there's some rigid rules that have to be applied to both sides. Once you bend those rules and flood over the other one, then let's say I work really, really hard on my business and I'm working all day long. Then my family is just a logo. It don't mean nothing else besides a logo. Because if you invest no time into it, you're not dealing with the friction that makes it work. Like I have this rule, family who works together stays together. Well, are you working with the family? Are you collaborating? Are you there? Are you spending dumb time talking about dumb shit? Like, some of the best time with your child is just talking about shit that don't matter. Or are you so busy? Because, I had never understood an entrepreneur who's busy and have a social life and a family. I don't know how the fuck you do that. Somebody's dead. And if you drunk on the weekend, I know who's dead. Business and family, probably. It's a trade-off. Once we start realizing this game that we're playing is all about trade-offs, then you don't realize, I don't care how passionate and dream and how this is going to save the world and how this has been my imagination. What are you losing on this side? And the thing is this, you'll turn around one day and say, hey, see what I did for y'all? I don't even know who the fuck you are, person. Or why they acting like this? You took care of that. You didn't take care of me. Or you took care. Or let's say this. There's a psychologist who's saying that, we moved into the I age, the narcissistic I age. I got to take care of it. What about me? I. And she said, a lot of times when she could talk to parents, she'll say, talk to business people in business, just say, you act as if you can't be successful later on. So instead, you take all this time chasing success, lose your child, to only find that you could have started way over here and had a relationship with your child. Like, it's this thing where you got to think about, what is the balance? What do we want in life? What really matters? And that's why I said you got to be clear on where is your North Star? What really matters? If you say, my family really matters, do you move like that? Really? Do? I understand you believe you do, but can we just be... Trade-off says no. Once you see your trade-offs, you realize, I don't move like that. Relationship. Oh, I love this person so much. That's my boo. Oh, my God. When last time y'all been out? I ain't never got no time for that person. I'm gone. I'm out. Shit. I gotta make my money. Okay. It's a choice. And you got to see it. I know it's hard, but it's not just... I'm using these simple, grounded levels. Every time I make a business decision, I got to think about, what is my cost? There's no such thing as grow your company and there's 3 people that you like, you already got to let them go. Because those people don't want to go to the next level. Trade-off. Or do you keep those people around, be loyal to them, and not grow your company? Trade-off. Next slide.
Personal level examples.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries versus support. Saying, stay out of my business, may protect privacy, but also cut off allies, advice, and emotional backing.
So a lot of times you people like, you already told somebody to stay out of my business? And you still friends with that person? Think about the trade-off what you just said. You just told that person, okay, so when I'm down, don't come for me. when the shit gets rough, don't loan me shit. That's the cost of the word stay out my business. See, stay out my business means, yeah, I'm saying out your business. Why I need some help? No, that's still your business. I'm homeless. That's still your business. You don't say stay out your business to your surrounding people. That's not a thing. Otherwise, the cost of that is you lose support when you need it. See, trade-offs, you got to also be able to see the future self. This is abstract thinking. You got to realize you're not going to always be up. You ever see this? I've been hearing a lot of rappers talk about this lately. They said, matter of fact, Big Daddy Kane talked about this as well. He said when he was at the height of his career, his brain told him this is how, he's in his 20s, his brain said, this is how it's going to be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Brain had no warning for the 30s. When that money said, "Arr!" because the crowd went somewhere else, he didn't move in the 20s like 30s is coming, right? Abstract thinking tells you, wait a minute, if I'm making all this money, what does this mean? What do I want to design for the future? Like you're having a long-term build-out conversation of your life going, okay, 20s making this kind of money. Okay, this is what's coming next. Okay, this is how my life's going to have to change. Okay, this is what kind of friends I'm probably going to end up having. Okay, this is where I want to go. So now you're starting to map, like you're starting to have all these pre-moves to set your 30s, 40s, and 50s up, and so you have actually a good life. But if you don't understand abstract thinking, you're just moving in these concrete spaces and responding and be reactionary, and then your 30s come around and it's the most painful in the world to come from millions to poverty. It is almost like you almost want to just smoke crack. Smoke crack, don't you? Okay, next slide. Next one. No. Go back to the previous slide. We got to finish. Next line.
Career choices. Accepting a high-paying job with long hours may mean less time for family or health. Turning it down may mean slower financial growth but greater well-being.
So some of you guys work long hours at your job. I work so many hours, Nana. I'm so tired. You know, I just be so busy. 20 pounds. So busy, 30 pounds. So busy, 50 pounds. So busy, diabetes. So busy. What's the thing they taking now? Ozempic. So busy. That's the cost. Being busy, you get excited about it, right? Everybody thinks it's a good thing. You know, I'd be so busy out here. What's the trade-off? Next one.
Lifestyle decisions. Choosing to live in a large house may bring comfort, but also higher mortgage stress, longer commutes, or less freedom to travel.
Buying that fancy car, living in these fancy houses, you dreamed of it all your life. I'm going to buy me a house. You understand? James, I'm going to buy me a house. Whatever, Florida. If you're no good times, that was the name, James in Florida. And you dream of these things, but you don't think about the trade-off. Oh, the cost, the stress. You don't travel like that no more. You don't have no free money like that no more. You're on a whole different lifestyle and budget now. You got your dream, but you lost your life. You got your dream, and you lost your life. You think this is just, I'm using personal examples, but this is going to be every decision you make, period. Consider the trade-offs. All decisions, not some, all. Keep going.
Social choices. Saying yes to every invitation might strengthen your network, but deplete your energy for creative or entrepreneurial pursuits.
You get all the events. You even have some entrepreneur events. You're saying yes to everything. Every weekend, you got places to be. But when I look at your economic scale, I look at your bank account, it's flatlined. Because you ain't got time to do the things to grow your bank account. But your social circle, like you got, hey man, everybody know me. Everybody know Nana. You know Nana, man. I'm one of the best dressing. I'm back to old Tone Vic. I'm the mayor of Lake Merritt. And that's what he used to call himself. I swear to God, he did. Whatever. Tone, you can't even chase me right now until you lose some weight. So anyway, point is this. So the thing is that, but what is that? What are you giving up for that? Your creativity. Creativity requires time. Your entrepreneurial pursuit, the learning, the habits. What are you doing where your habits can exist? What trade-offs have you chosen? Or are you currently choosing even today? I want to date this guy. I want to help him out. Whew. You understand those trade-offs? Man, she bad, man. I mean, she bad. She ain't doing that much with her career, you know what I'm saying? She drives, old school car and stuff. It's kind of, old Prius, real, like the new Datsun B210 is a Prius. But she drives this old school Prius and stuff, and it's just, but she bad. You see how sexy she is? What's the trade-off? Ask yourself those trade-offs. Once you start seeing those trade-offs, is she bad now? Like, one thing that has changed my manhood a lot, I can be out in places, those kind of girls you see and they put them outfits on. I see the trade-offs. They don't look the same to me no more. I'm old enough now where I've had wisdom, so I can say, yeah, trade-off. Especially the ones who got the Birkin bags or the Louis Vuitton bags, and she's positioning herself to be seen like that. You're already going to deplete our resources. You're a leak. You're a hole in the boat. Trade-off. You're not helping us grow. You already got a plan on how to spend it. Next slide.
Entrepreneurial and leadership lens. Scaling versus stability.
Now this is it's like a trade-off down through business. We went personal. Now we're going to get to some business shit. Let's go.
Investing heavily in growth may sacrifice safety nets. Playing it safe may sacrifice expansion opportunity.
So when you decide, okay, I'm going to invest in growth, you now put your business at risk. But playing it safe means you just also prevent business growth. See the trade-off? So you might say, no, I see a chance to grow my business, I'll make some investments. Yes, but now you're more vulnerable to competition. You're more vulnerable to changes. You're more vulnerable to black swan. You're vulnerable to a lot of shit now. So you know that now you're at a very risky space. You say, well, you know what? I don't like taking risks like that. I'm going to play safe, make some smart investments. Your business has been small for a long ass time. Really long. It's been so long. Your children are going to be adults and you'll still be the same size because you're not taking those risks. That's a trade-off. Next one.
Control versus delegation. Keeping control means things are done your way, but limits scalability. Delegating grows capacity, but requires trust.
So, yeah, a lot of people can't get into scaling because they have to give up control. So you can't be controlling in business and running it your way and scaling the business. The business has to outgrow you to the point that you're almost the weakest employee. I mean, if you had to go back on the floor and do the work, they'd be like, give us the computer back. Just give it back. Come on, man. Go sit your ass down. Right? So, but yet when you grow a company, can you accept the losses that come along with it? Because that's a trade-off. See, you can't grow and not take losses. You're going to get robbed a little bit. We're going to break some shit. You might have to go to court a couple of times. That's part of growth. But can you handle that because your control side let that happen without you seeing it as a destruction? Can you say, yeah, I already planned on that because that was part of the trade-off? See the difference if I'm trying to be strategical and somebody goes, no, but there's a chance I would equate, okay, I could possibly lose. Going back to when court said the guy spent $24 million to get $80 million. He accepted a loss of $24 million to get $80 million. Some of y'all can't play that game because a loss of $24 million says, man, that's $24 million. Fuck what you heard. Can you play the game of the loss? Because you see the trade-off. This is important because sometimes when you're losing, you're actually winning overall, but you can get so tunneled into that one moment of a loss, you don't realize it's a bigger play. But because you understand trade-offs, you not only did you anticipate it, but you also said, if I can just minimize that loss, that's my profit margin right there. Because I'm already playing a game that's going to yield me a high return that comes with automatic losses. Because you accepted the trade-off. You open up a business tomorrow, you know that a certain amount of products and services is going to be stolen from you. You know that. You know a certain group of employees is going to rob you. You know that. If you open a fast food chain tomorrow, you already know that people are going to be doing some hookups. Come on through, I'll hook you up. You know that's part of the equation. That has to be part of your calculation of how you run your business, not it shouldn't have to be that way. No, it's called trade-offs. The cost of doing business. That's why when the government comes to you like your tax bill is $110,000, Oh, you didn't see the trade-off? You thought you were going to make all that money and not have to pay somebody? That's a trade-off, baby. See, learning to embrace the trade-off is it's one of those things where we get caught up in the shiny object, not realizing I bought this Louis Vuitton bag, but what did I have to give up? What can I not do? And did I even put myself in danger in certain situations? What's the trade-off? I actually wear to dress the way I want to dress. Okay, cool. Are you cool with that trade-off? Can your boyfriend fight? You think so? Is he in Kung Fu class with Shakina? No? Ooh, what did Court say earlier? Your ego got you fucked up. Get the next one.
Crazy. Profit versus purpose.
Uh-oh, this is a great one here. This is another trade-off that most people miss. Go ahead.
Leaders often face the tension between maximizing profits and staying true to mission or community values.
This is reaching my nonprofit people. So as your business grows, you understand with profit comes a trade-off. You lose purpose. If you keep purpose, you reduce profit. You ready to hear that conversation? These are trade-offs. This is abstract thinking. These are things, if you want to get into strategy conversations with me, these abstract rules my brain automatically can reference just as fast. So as you tell me, I'm going to do this, my brain goes, yeah, but you're about to lose that. Because my brain embraces trade-offs all the time. I can't serve my clients if I don't see trade-offs. You can sit me in a room and tell me the most beautiful story in the world, and I can see all the ugly shit that goes along with it. And then I started doing a weighing out and balancing and playing this kind of like this number game of mine going, okay, well, you still come out 10% here. You take a 5% loss here, but you actually have a 30% win here. Shit, let's do it. So when the ugly shit shows up, I'm like, yeah, that's why we built that into it. We have insurance for that. We knew that's going to happen. That's all part of the cost. But if you don't understand the trade-offs, you're getting caught slipping without insurance. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't got a cheap insurance because it was discounted for a car that costs $70,000. It gets hit, and the insurance company's like, "Yo, man, Riri ain't home yet, so he calls back." You didn't understand the trade-off. Cheap insurance comes with some cost. Everything has cost. What's the cost of your win? What's the cost of your success? What's the cost of your happiness? I just want to be happy. What's the trade-off? What are you ignoring? This is shit. Once you understand trade-off, it grounds you. You know, pop culture is trash because it speaks about life without trade-offs. Internet, social media, trash because it talks about life without trade-offs. Look at me, I'm over here at this party. Look at the new car I bought. This is my new boo right here. Dog, share the trade-offs.
Yo, this is real shit because a lot of people forget this. So when the culture of I'm independent came, then they're like, well, I want somebody, but they built independence. So you can't function with nobody because you was independent this whole time. It's a trade-off you didn't think about.
A lot of feminism and sexism, racism talk, homophobia, some of the extreme ideas of embracing these ideas give you trade-offs you really don't want. You know, one of the things they talked about what happened with, this is a woman discussing weight in America. And she says, you know, a lot of us gain weight because our foods change. Not because you are sloppy, bad eating, fat slobs. No such thing. It's the food change. And because the food change, the nutrients change. So the way you get around some of these food changes that will allow you to lose weight properly, and I experienced this, when I went to Africa for a month, I lost 30 pounds. 30 pounds, and I ate whale. Like Big Mama cooking, whale. But the nutrients of the food was different. And I dropped 30 pounds. I didn't know I dropped 30 pounds. Somebody's like, you lost hella weight. Got on a scale. I was like, God damn, 30 pounds in 1 month. So what she said was, what's happened to modern day culture is that we're losing the ability to cook. If you just cook your food, a lot of you guys will lose weight. Just cook your food. Just go home and cook your food. She said, but here's the problem. We stopped cooking. She goes, but you know why we stopped cooking? Because women went to work. It's a trade-off. Yeah, we go to work, but what does that remove from the household? Trade-offs. Like, these are things you got to think about. I'm not saying women stop working. That please do not put me in a sexist ass machismo, because I'm going to just throw every time you talk to me like this. But the point is this: it's because. But I'm trying to explain to you, like, even though we make progress in one way, we're going to have to come with inventions and innovation because we got to realize that it's a trade-off. I'm not saying that women go back in the kitchen. No, I'm saying we're going to have to reinvent something to subsidize the change. You don't get to change one element of society and not understand the impact it's going to have on other parts of society. If you grow your business in the hood, what's the good side of that? What's the bad side of that? Yeah, how many times you saw there was Big Daddy Kane and Spike Lee both said this. They said when they first came up, they was like, "Yo, I was born in the hood. I was raised by the hood. I'm successful because of the hood, so I'm gonna stay in the hood." And then when they made money, they realized they couldn't stay in the hood no more because they kept getting robbed. Our cash was coming for them, and so we realized the trade-off is yes. Once you're successful, Beyonce don't get to have a life like anybody in this room. The trade-off for Beyonce lifestyle is she don't get to just go to places because she want to go places. For the rest of her life, she lives behind security and a wall. That's a trade-off. You got to know these trade-offs. Is that really what you want? Don't go back to what he said, observation knowledge, and see her at an event or having Disneyland open up for just her. You're like, oh, that'd be hella tight. But then don't want to pay the cost of, oh, I'm going to the store. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not. If me and Course went on the street and somebody bumped us in the shoulder, I might decide how I feel. Depends on how you catch me. I might lock up, make you fall down. I might move out the way. I might just take the hit and be like, what's wrong with this dude? Depends on what the situation is. If you're rich and somebody bumps you, you better not respond. You just lost 50,000 plus. Just for going, why you do this? Just this. You might just throw money at them. Because exactly what you just did. Trade-offs. Once you understand trade-offs, I'm a parent now. Oh, okay. You got a kid, huh? But you still want to have your life. That's over, baby. Trade-off. You ain't you no more. You this. You ain't you no more. Because if you want to do you, ask your child who was the best parent, who's the worst parent they ever seen, and she might just say, you the worst. Trade-off. Me and you want to have sex, and she get pregnant, and you mad, bro, it's too late. Trade-off. Game gone. Trade-off. Once we understand trade-offs, it changes the way we have more ownership of our moral decisions, our choices, our values, our beliefs, everything, because we understand the cost of every decision we make. You don't get to make free decisions. Every decision, and then what happens if you're not considering the cost? Stop being blindsided by the trade-off. I can't believe this is happening to me. Oh, I can't believe you judged me like this. I can't believe this. I can't believe you charging me for this. I can't believe I'm about to lose my business. You didn't see the trade-off? You made a decision. You just didn't translate the trade-off. Like, it's different like going back to like you make an investment in your business and you're at risk. You should take risks like that sometimes. That's business, right? But when you take that loss, you go, all right, you got me. All right, I'm gonna get back in the game. It's not emotional. But let's say you take the risk, but you didn't know you were taking a risk and the risk didn't pay off. Now you mad at God, you cursing God. I ain't even Christian no more. I ain't no Muslim. Right? Because you're mad because life is unfair. No, it's not. You just didn't see the trade-off. All right, we finish this next slide.
Psychological dimensions. Loss aversion. People often avoid trade-offs because they overvalue what they might lose compared to what they might gain.
So a lot of times when we're looking at stuff, we also can look at, this is powerful. Loss aversion. So let's say you're in a business decision and you look like things are really funky. You're about to fire somebody. You just took a hit. Competition just made a move. You actually have a position of advantage, but you can't see it because you can't see the loss has a good trade-off. So for example, let's say this is early 510 media. This is old Nana. I remember a client would call me like, hey, this is wrong. Now my first response was, just to fix it. Okay, what can I do to fix it? But my brain but I had to tell myself, it felt like somebody hit me in my chest and my spirit went back to my back and disappeared from my face and my consciousness and I came like, whoo, whoo. Now while I was back here, why my spirit is like almost pulling because I'm almost like shamed. I feel bad. It's not how I want to do business. I made a mistake. I almost want to go hide. I'm mad. All these emotions are just like, hit me all at once. So I'm almost disconnecting from the phone call. It's almost like I can feel tingling in my face, right? And then my brain would say, I would say, no, okay, you're in back here, but what's the trade-off? The trade-off was, how can you turn this around and make it work for you? No, don't apologize, which get me back to zero. How can I use this bad situation and create an advantage? And my thinking, like understanding my trade-offs, which is me managing my loss aversion. Your car gets hit. For example, okay, I remember when I got hit on my motorcycle, right? Hit on my motorcycle was my favorite. I had a Hayabusa. It was my first one. And I love that bike. I mean, it was just my baby. My brain said, wait a minute. Okay, can you move your legs, arms? Oh, you can win this motherfucker. You about to get paid. Loss aversion. My brain went, every time I go through something, my brain's already, I promise you, if something's happening outside of death itself, my brain's already calculating what is the opposite trade-off to the fucked up shit I'm going through. And a lot of times, that's where a lot of strategy of growth lives. And says again, when you're going through some shit, if you can see trade-off and not get your defensive mindset and your traditional routine you run when you upset, and you know me, I always gotta do this when I'm pissed. But you can start saying, this just happened to me. What's my win? I could take a fucked up moment where you do some shit wrong to me, and I will position it in that conversation where I will have power over you because you fucked up. I'm sorry you did this. Hey man, don't worry about that, player. I mean, what we can do, that's what we can do. We can just move forward. Maybe one of these days when I need something, I know what the fuck I'm doing because I'm playing the trade-off game. If you're in business, if you don't learn this now, if you've ever been fired from a job and somebody tell you it's the best thing ever happened to me, well, when you find that person, do you feel like that's the best thing you're doing for them? I do. I see the trade-off. I also, for example, when I put my son out the house at 16 or 17, because he was, I don't need y'all. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right, outside you will be, not in this house like this. Mother's crying. Oh my God, our son's outside. It's a high risk, but the trade-off is this: his friends are not going to cover parenting roles. It's just not going to happen. To this day, my son's like, yo, I appreciate you for doing that for me. Because if you didn't do that for me, if you would subsidize you may have baked in this bad behavior and this way I saw the world. But when I got out there with my friends and got a chance to interact with the world and had to lean on them, it wasn't there. But when I was out there, they was like, yeah, come on out here. We got you, dog. We go out the rope. Bruh, it's not a thing. A trade-off says you're going to lose. Also, trade-off says that in order for you to change, you're going to have to experience this friction for yourself. I can talk to them blue in the face, but I saw the trade-offs. I made the call. My wife wanted to push against me. No, I'm making this call. Yes, it's risk. I saw all those trade-offs. Yeah, it's a chance I could lose my son. I see those trade-offs. But I was going to lose him one way or the other, but I had to let him have his own experiences based upon his relationship to the world. Trade-offs. Now, you may say, I could do it different. You might can. But every decision I make, I'm seeing the trade-off, good and bad. And once you learn how to do that, that's why I don't like to be very emotional. The reason I'm always trying to tame my emotions, because my emotions will go against my ability to manage my trade-offs. Let me say this again. If I don't tame my emotions will go against my ability to manage my trade-offs. Y'all see this game here? Do you just say that when somebody got you in the corner, you might be in a winning position, you don't even see it? Okay, keep going. This is the foundation of game theory. Keep going.
Blind spots. Many trade-offs are implicit. People don't see the hidden costs of their choices until later. Example, prioritizing short-term relief, like skipping exercise, at the expense of long-term health.
So, there could be these short-term wins you're getting right now that's causing long-term losses because you can't see it. You're blindsided. There's these situations where something can feel really, really good at the expense of a big cost, but you can't see it. Blindsided. Let me go into what Court taught earlier. There could be cultural adaptation where you're doing what everybody's doing and it feels good. We did this, we did that, we did this, we did that, and they never saw it as a trade-off. You could be in a status game where you're playing a game of keep people liking you, and now you're loved. But long-term, trade-off. You eat what you want to eat because you're free to eat what you want to eat. And there was a time I couldn't eat what I want to eat, so I could eat what the fuck I want to eat. I don't need y'all telling me how to eat my food. Now you 35 with needles in your arm. Trade off. Once you, let me say this real quick. It's gonna sound. Stay with me when I say this. Once you master trade off, you master parenting yourself and becoming a real parent. A lot of us are still kids looking for parents, whether it's white men, whether it's gods. We're looking for somebody to parent us. Once you understand trade-offs, a lot of stuff starts making sense. Because you start realizing there's a cost to everything. You'll even see the future play of, because once you study abstract patterns, because abstract is understanding life patterns, and you see trade-offs, you will know if y'all keep doing this. So, for example, one of my greatest fear for social justice, for the people who are in social justice, is they're becoming more sensitive. More sensitive make them more fragile. Make them more fragile mean that they will cause more self-harm or harm to others. I can make that call from here. So if I see the psychology and mental health and suicides and if I see people having breakdowns and violent behavior, that's very, very possible, because that's a trade-off of what you were asking for. The trade-off of asking another man to give you freedom is that same man can take it away from you. That's not a good position. That's not freedom. Trade-off. See, once you start seeing the trade-offs, now your decision-making gets way the fuck better. But if you don't see the trade-offs, you get caught up into what you felt, what everybody else was doing, what was a popular trend, where you wanted to go. Think about this. Okay, a dude sells dope at the age of 18. Ain't making cash. He rolling the cleanest cars. He decides at the age of 30, I'm over this shit. I'm done. He decides I'm going to get a job. Did you see the trade-off for him? What skills does this motherfucker have? That motherfucker's a McDonald's worker at best. But he's pissed because he uses this kind of money. So now he has pattern dependency, where he has to go back to the pattern because he's dependent on everything that comes from that pattern. Cold-blooded trade-off. So being a dope dealer, being a stripper for 10 years, what's the trade-off? I was going to do it for a minute, pay for my college degree, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm going to stop there because I don't want the strippers mad at me. Anyway, next slide.
That is crazy. The central lesson you can drive home.
Mm-hmm.
Trade-offs are not something to avoid. They're the very essence of choice.
Stop. If I told you to take away all your ability to choose, what would you say to me? You killing me. You killing me, Smalls. Right? I can't take away your choices, take away your life. So how are you making choices in your life and you don't see trade-offs? Your thinking is absolutely flawed. Absolutely. This is where good feedback comes in, because good feedback is talking about your trade-offs. Hey, y'all, I'm about to make this move in business. All right, let's discuss your trade-offs. I don't want to hear all that. I want you to stay positive. I'm offended that you just can't see what I see and can't respect my happiness. You are a choice fool. A choice-making fool. May the experience of foolery shower you. Keep going.
Wise decision making is less about eliminating trade-offs and more about becoming conscious of them.
That's it. Just become conscious of them. Now, any questions on trade-offs before we get into the next stage? Because we're building a foundation of early introduction to game theory. Go ahead, Fern.
Can I just say my mama was talking about trade-offs last night.
No shit.
Literally. We were on the phone and she was like, yeah, you just got to understand the trade-offs, Fernie. And I said, so you start talking about this? I'm like, God damn. Talk about driving a point home. My gosh.
It's everything. Once you learn how to really think with trade-offs, it gets really robust. It's not something simple like, oh, just trade. Like, you realize how many decisions are going to curve, change. It'll have you adding layers, creating optionality. You start seeing the gaps, the areas for where you're fragile at, where you have to build reinforcement. You'll start seeing where you have to put more money into it, less. Because one of the things with trade-offs is sometimes we underfund something because we don't see the trade-offs. Go ahead.
Let me just add, my mom is 87. and owns 3 homes. So, like, she's lived a life of trade-offs and raised 5 daughters
Come on.
as a school teacher. So,
That's hella cold.
yeah, she mastered that art of trade-off.
It's everything.
And so the whole life was this this balance.
Once you understand this trade-off thing, I promise you. You ever been around somebody and they selling you what they want to do and they're all happy and they hitting all the key points to why everybody else would be happy for them? And if you understand trade-offs, remember a long time ago, Court talked about this. He said, sometimes I call Nana and I'm excited about some shit. And he'd be like, yeah, but that's all I was doing, using trade-offs. I was thinking, that's cool, but you're not positioned for that trade-off, bro. If that trade-off knocks on your door, you're done. So I think you need to advance your planning to take into consideration. I'm not saying you can't do everything. I'm saying, okay, I want to be a busy entrepreneur when we have a family. Well, then you're going to have a plan where your children are going to be in your office a little bit more than normal. And you're going to have hours where you stop and call it kid time. And literally turn your phone off, not be like, oh, I'm gonna spend some time with my kid. No, Michael, put that over there, baby. So Michael, I was telling him the other day, no, put the Lego on top. Yeah, there you go. That's what Daddy wanted. So anyway, no, it's I'll call you back in an hour. Trade-offs. Because you don't want to find out what happens when you don't invest in that trade-off later on. It's like when my wife came to me, it's like, yo, ZZ School gonna be $3,700 a month. Kindergarten, first grade. Me went into a baby rant. That's what I sound like. And then I saw the school and the kids and the way they were talking to each other, and I said, oh, I want that trade-off. Let's go. I'm going to suffer with this one. And so now I just close my eyes. I don't see it. So just make more. Don't worry about that. Just focus on more, right? Once you start seeing these trade-offs, you realize, let me help you out with this. You want to expand your company. I'll say, okay, I want to go down this path because I see a big opportunity to make a lot of money. And you look at the team you have right now. You say, well, shit, I have to make some money that makes this much money. Your brain going to be like, I got to pay for this? But once you understand trade-offs, you're like, no, if I want this, I'm going to have to pay for this. That's all one decision. It's not a separate thing. Like, I made this decision and, I got to pay for it. So I was like, before you've made a decision, you're already calculating how much you're going to pay for it. You get with this? Like, you could own that uncomfortable, those things you don't want to do, because that was already part of you understood when you chose this, you chose that too. When I chose that I-7, there ain't no people that wash those kind of cars in the Bay Area. I chose to have to wash my cars now. You understand that much time? That's 2 hours once a week. I got to wash a car. I made that choice. See, I love your car. Do you love the trade-offs? This is important. All right, next slide. Any more questions before we because this is all the foundation of game theory. Okay, we good? Okay.
Oh, wait.
Now,
Let me check online.
we're laying the foundation of game theory. Game theory is one of the coldest. If you're in the business of strategy and you're not practicing game theory, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's the foundation of everything we're talking about. Ready? Let's go for it.
The premise of game theory is simple but powerful. It studies how individuals or groups, communities, and even nations make strategic decisions when the outcome depends not just on their own choices, but also on the choices of others.
Okay. Yeah, see how powerful. Okay, before I go further, can anybody see the difference between choices and game theory choices? I'm gonna give you guys, just see if can you see the difference. It's huge. It's fucking huge.
It makes me think about when you were going over like first principle thinking and like the layers and levels where you've got this surface level of what people think is like the game, and then not realizing that there's multiple games going on and different rules that are influencing it.
Yes, that was. So let me explain what she said, because she kind of explained it with some abstractions. A lot of times when you go to meetings with people and they're planning, they're thinking about what they want to do in the world, but they're not considering what other people are doing that's going to counter what they're going to do in the world.
Cold.
That's the coldest shit ever. So don't look at. If you're driving at nighttime, that's how most people look at strategy. It's just you in the road. But if you're driving with a whole bunch of cars around you, that's game theory. Let's say you want to drive 80 miles per hour and it's in traffic. That's game theory because you have to calculate what everybody could possibly do and still be able to make the best possible decisions. So, for example, I was on the freeway the other day and I was driving by Grand Exit, and there was the far right lane was moving super slower than the far left lane. You know why the far right lane was making super slower? It wasn't dumb drivers. They were trying to make a decision, should I go or should I let you in? Should I let you in? Should I go? Should I wait for you? Should I pause? And then all the people trying to figure out what the next person is going to do, everybody paused to try to translate what the next person is going to do, which means that instead of them just automatically going, oh, opportunity, move, opportunity, move, opportunity, move, everybody's going, I want to get over, but is he going to speed up? Is he going to change lanes? Is he going to slow down? And so that in a set had a chain effect. So if you're way in the back line, you're like, what's causing this traffic? Why are these motherfuckers slowing down? There's a point of game theory negotiation happening up here that translates to an outcome that seems like it's just almost unexplainable by human nature. So I want to grow my business. Okay, cool. That's flat line, to your point, level strategy, like 1D level strategy. 3D level strategy. I want to grow my business, and these are my customers who have these needs. These are the people I can hire who are going to have these challenges. These are the loaners and the investors and the banks who have these challenges. And here's my competition who has these challenges. And here's all these industries that may be disrupting the workout industry as a whole. Now, as I build and make my next decision, I got to take all these things into consideration because I can invest in a great idea that gets extinguished because of just competition, employees, customers, bank, money resources, cultural trends. You don't get this go one-to-one decision. It's one-to-many. This is game theory. What are you going to do? Because if you make this move, I make 100,000. You make this move, I may only make 2,000. This is the intro. You guys get how cold this shit is? It's like learning to think. Now, mind you, you're going to have to develop your abstract thinking to have access to game theory. Because I promise you try to learn game theory, you don't develop your abstract thinking. I promise you, I'm giving you a very simple introduction, but I'm going to show you why some people are whooping your ass in business and why some of you guys, it's almost like you dig holes and this other guy builds engineering software to hire people to create technology that dig holes, and you wonder why you're in a disadvantage. One is building an abstract solution, and one is building a concrete solution. And so game theory is, if you're gonna play a game, you gotta understand as you play this game, do you see all the other games that surround you? Okay, next slide. Core
ideas. Interdependence. Unlike regular decision making, where your outcome depends only on your action, in game theory, your result depends on both your decisions and the decisions of others.
So, the outcome of whatever you're building is no longer, Core says I'm building Core Smith. That ain't enough. What decisions is employees making? What decisions is customers making? What decisions is vendors making? What decisions is the market making, right? All that is impacting his decision making. If he just makes a decision on, I make these clean ass jerseys, they're gonna love my jerseys. These are the hardest and best design. I put so much work in. This is the best. I ain't seen nobody's jerseys as nice as mine. And you may absolutely lose because you don't understand game theory. You guys get that so far?
That's so.
Next one.
Rationality. It assumes, most of the time, that players are rational. They want to maximize their payoffs, benefits, profits, survival, etc.
So you think that we're in a game in competition because everybody's fighting for the same thing. We all want to win. Some of us don't want to win. Let's say you go into a contract, for example, let me show you a game theory thing that happened to me in this area, rationality. I would go into companies and I say, this is a good direction for you. Matter of fact, I read this in another book. This dude said he went to a company. I'm gonna give my own example first, but he said he went to a company. The company said, "Hey, can you help me teach the history of our company because we have a high turnover rate?" And guy says, "I can assure you that people are not leaving your company because they don't know the history of your company." They said, "Well, you're fired. We don't need you then."
Well,
See, you thought we played the same game. You thought the game was I reduced when really maybe the woman I'm sleeping with in the office that I ain't told nobody about. Because remember, the dark side runs the office as much as the light side. So I have a dark side relationship with this woman who said, "Baby, this is a good idea." And the game I'm playing is I got to make her happy. You playing get it right. I'm playing get her right. You understand me? So because we playing two different games, you come here and get it right and get it all wrong. And I can't deal with you. I got to fire you because you got to get her right. You guys don't understand this. Or it might be a status game. I got to prove I'm better than court. I don't care about all the other shit you talking about. And you come in there and show me how to make a profit. Dog, you're proving him right. I can't. That's not what I want. Whatever we do got to make me look better. So figure it out again. This is the world you live in. So rationality in game theory is not assumed. Let me say this again. Rationality is not assumed. This is why when you do your insights, you got to be able to listen to people and go, what's really going on in this room? Don't ever do business with people and assume it's two rational actors having a conversation. This is game theory.
Man.
Do you see incentives? Well, I'm going to get into that's another part of game theory. If you don't see the incentives in the room and you talking rationality and incentives is opposite of rationality, you just fucked up.
Hey, I was at I was at another office working at with these new employees that I didn't hire, and so we were working through a problem. She said, "Courtney, I need you to just trust me." I looked at her, and my face must have gave her the nastiest look, like, "Fuck, I look like trusting you. Like I don't even know you." So I said, "Hold on, this ain't a trust game. This is a results game. So I don't know you. It would be crazy for me to trust you. We got to play the results game first, and because I don't assume that you're rational. I don't know you yet. This is so much game.
I promise you, when you move through the world, you think, I'm hiring somebody. They want to have a good salary. Do they? Why are they there? Maybe just being there is a status game for them. Maybe being there is getting away from the house game. Maybe it might be, I'm going to stop my wife from fussing game. You don't know what the game is. But you just listen to their words and make an assumption, oh, I know what the game is. You don't know what the game is. Keep going.
strategy. Each player must anticipate what the others might do, and often must plan for both cooperation and conflict.
So, when you're in business and you do business is about people interacting with people, right? What's your anticipation game like? Are you able to read people's next moves? Are you you ever watch a boxer? What's his name? Roy. Huh?
Mayweather.
No, Roy Jones. Other one. Floyd Mayweather. Excuse me, Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was a master defensive fighter. You ever watch him? It was almost like if you ever watched Floyd Mayweather and it's like somebody slow down on his fights, it looks like you're watching a ballet play. It's so perfectly executed because he sees every move you're telegraphing. Some of y'all in business and can't read telegraphing, get knocked the fuck out every day. Your employees, okay. You ever play cards before and they said, don't share what's in your hand? Mm-hmm. Right? Because you go from having an advantage to disadvantage. When I'm engaging in strategy, I'm reading people, you don't know I'm reading you. I would never share that with you. But I'm anticipating your next move because sometimes you're going to agree with me and sometimes you're going to move against me. Now, I can be victimized by that, like, oh, you moved against me. Or I can design my life so when you move against me, we're still friends. I just saw it coming and I already positioned, made a move for it. You see how cold that is? Some you could never underestimate humans' greed or desire for what they want. They ain't got nothing to do with you. Don't take it personal. It's just called being human. That's the game we sign up for. I'm in a game of doing business with humans. So I'm in an anticipation game. So when people make certain moves, I'm already reading your moves from your regular talk, your regular conversation, your humor. The way you will respond to a spider is telling me more about your behavior than you realize. Because when I'm moving, if I have to work and collaborate with you, I got to know how to make the right moves to keep the motivation alive so we can achieve our goals. If I'm a leader. But if I get to a point where I just think I'm just going to give you a strategy and everybody in the room going to share my motivation and we're going to get it done. Even when I'm in a room, say if we're in a room right now, I know your weaknesses and your strengths. So as I'm stating the strategy, I might already be about to bring a consultant in to back you up front because I already realize you can't carry this strategy by yourself. And as a matter of fact, I believe in you. So I might bring in somebody so good that you can't even stand it. They can almost embarrass you. And as they embarrass you, I know you're too competitive to stake with that, but it's going to reignite your motivation to continue to grow because I realize you're kind of stagnant. And I'm going to tell you that. Nah, it won't translate. If I play my cards, it won't play the same. Strategy. This is game theory. Y'all having fun yet? This is some real shit. This is shit y'all be like, teach me strategy. I'm like, oh, we way back here now. We got to work on love yourself. Why am I here? You know what I'm saying? Ego. You know what I'm saying? But y'all want to get into some strategy shit. Let's get into some strategy shit. Hopefully Tone Vic ain't sleep. You probably, itis. Tone, wake up. All right, next one.
Payoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Every combination of choices produces an outcome called a payoff.
Payoff, trade-off, payoff, trade-off, payoff. You see that? Foundation. Go ahead.
Which can be measured in money, points, reputation, survival, etc.
So payoffs. Everybody don't want money. Some people want security. They want education. Matter of fact, you want to piss somebody off that don't want money? Pay them more money. You know how many people leave .coms who got crazy salaries? They didn't get the payoff is not correct. They didn't get the incentive right. You gotta know what people want. Let's say I walk with a Jazzy right now, right? And I find out what Jazzy loves, right? Baby girl here. And my niece says to me, Nana, I love this special toy. Now she doesn't have it. For whatever reason, maybe her mother and her father haven't given it to her yet, whatever, right? Let's say the toy costs $80. Which one would be more impactful? Me giving her $80 or me bringing her a toy?
The toy.
All day long. All day long. But if you don't read these things, because you're into you don't read payoffs. What are people, why? What's your payoff for this? What's your payoff for this? Why are you doing this? Why are you here? What really gives you the win you want? So you negotiate. Say me you're negotiating right now, and we got some money on the table. I don't see your payoffs. You understand how bad this negotiation is about to go? I'm really saying what I feel, and I'm just projecting. Now I realize I'm just stepping all over your belief streams and ideas, and I wonder why you're so resistant to me. I never figured out your payoffs. This is all game. This is game. I'm trying to give you a game for $9.99. Go ahead. I'll pass the microphone to Scott.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if I could jump in real quick because I think you're so brilliant in what you're talking about with game theory, but game theory is so high in the realm of strategery. I was wondering if I can give a little simple context. Maybe it'll help clean some stuff up. So game theory was started by a mathematician and an economist in the 1920s, von Neumann and Morgenstern, from playing poker. All the ideas of game theory are based a little bit off of poker. And so it's saying that every relationship, every interaction is a game. But the pot from the poker game is not the same for everybody. So let's say, like Nana was saying, maybe Alam wants status, right? She's into fashion. She's got an Instagram account. She's looking for status. Maybe I'm looking to make money. We have two totally different games we're playing. I got to figure out what game she's playing. She's got to figure out what game I'm playing and do our incentives match. And then there's bluffing, right? I might want more from her than I'm willing to give her. And I got to figure all that out. So game theory really is like poker for the world.
It really is. And the reality is that, okay, I'm going to try to get to my conclusion. I'm going to speak to that a little bit. So next slide. I'm speaking in that direction. So I'm not leaving that hanging. I'm going to come back to that in my conclusion. Matter of fact, this is one of the most famous game theory sightings. This is it right here. So go ahead, read this one.
Simple example. Prisoner's dilemma. Two people arrested for a crime must each decide whether to confess or stay silent.
So you got two people in different rooms. They've been arrested, right? You want to confess or stay silent? Keep going.
If both stay silent, they each get a light sentence. If one confesses and the other stays silent, the confessor goes free. The silent one gets a heavy sentence. If both confess, both get medium sentences. The dilemma shows individual rational choices can lead to worse outcomes for everyone. A key lesson in business, politics, and personal life.
So, moving in business, so this is one of the things that I think game theory shakes and breaks the foundation. A lot of people move in business to what is right, what is good, what is best, what is most moral, that's not the game you're playing. That's not life itself. What is right could be wrong. What is wrong could be right. What is good could be bad. What is bad could be good. Once you understand game theory, you can even understand some things you might disagree with. There's certain things Trump is doing. You can say, what's the game theory on that? What's the trade-off? What's the payoffs? Who's the players? And then all of a sudden, you realize you can't see what the fuck he's doing. Because once you understand game theory, there's things you just don't have access to judge what people are doing in politics. You'll realize how much you can't see. So now all we're doing is engaging in theater. We don't understand politics because you can't see the game that's being played. You can't. Think like when the lobbyists come in and everybody's putting in different money that you don't have any insights on. What game you see? If you don't see any of the lobbyists and how much money's been put on the table, and you wonder why we're going right as opposed to left, even though left makes the most sense, you don't see it. Also, you don't see relationships people have. You don't see power dynamics. You don't see historical relationships. All this is part of business. All this is part of. The more money you make, go into those rooms. All you hear is this kind of talk. That's all you hear. That's why you'll see a lot of people in high positions. You're like, why are they in a high position? You don't understand game theory. This ain't about no fairness. Get out of here. You got the game all fucked up. You got some silly, low-thinking person about, that's not fair. I'm more talented than him. But you're not more invested in him. You're not tied to the right people than him. It's called game theory. We're playing a different game you play. Maybe I'm playing the power game and you're playing the rich game. Two different games. I'm trying to protect power. I will give up money to protect power, and you, at the end of the day, you don't understand the dynamics of power as you become rich. All this is game theory. Next slide.
Why it matters. Business, pricing wars, negotiations, partnerships.
So, keep going. I'm going to let this one go because I'm going to get to some examples. Keep going.
Politics, treaties, elections, voting strategy.
So these are all things that gaming theories will impact. Business, pricing wars, negotiations, partnerships, politics, treaties, elections, voting strategies. Keep going.
Life, whether to cooperate, compete, or trust someone in a relationship and community.
So you guys ever told me that, you know why me and Mashama are so close? Our relationship depends on me playing the game. If I don't play that game, I will jeopardize our relationship. I said from day one. I have to show up a certain kind of way. If I decide to go start smoking some weed and stay in Atlanta strip clubs for the next 2 years, he'll love me symbolically, but he won't fuck with me the same. I have to. So part of my relationship to him, my responsibility to be with him as a partner is I got to show up a certain kind of way to life. I don't get to just do what I want to do and be free to. The trade-off of having a strong partner like Mashama, it comes with responsibilities and trade-offs and payoffs that matter. If I told Mashama tomorrow, you know what, man, I just want to be white. Mashama would be like, okay. Because that's part of that's a payoff. Because Mashama is a very pro-black person. He loves black culture. And one of the things that he agreed to collaborate with me is that, are you here to help black people? Because you're not. I don't want to do this. So there's certain things he put on the table. Here are the requirements for us to grow. His son is my that's my nephew. His mother is my mother, right? We're deeply integrated. I'm talking to the point that you can't almost convince me we don't have the same blood almost, right? That's how close we are. But it does come with requirements. It ain't just some way I just love him. Oh my God, he's the greatest. Is he the greatest ever? I just love him. No, that's pop culture trash. Keep going.
Yeah.
At its heart, game theory is about understanding the games we are playing. We are always playing, sometimes without realizing it.
So let me be very clear. This is where I want to go back to what Scott was saying. Everybody in your life, including you, are playing games. Everybody. Question, do you understand what game people are playing around you? Are you so damn naive that you just hanging around people and go like, oh, we're just friends? No, what game? Why are you your friend? What's the game they playing? I like that person. What game are they playing? I work for this company. What game are they playing? Your children, what game are they playing? Everybody's playing a game. Have you translated that game? Or are you the most naive person in the room thinking that you're in there playing the fair in this game and everybody's not playing your game? Once you understand the game they're playing, you even know how to move that room and how to also fuck that room up. Once you understand that game they're playing. But a lot of times we're so caught in what we thinking and what we feeling, we're so defensive about our emotions and our feelings, we don't see the game they playing. Some of y'all will never see your customer game they playing because you're so busy, so in love with your products and services you're bringing to the world. You're going to make the world so much better. Yeah, but why are they there? What game are they playing? How many people playing this game? How many people playing that game? People playing this game? Or is your marketing and branding speaking to the game they playing, or is it speaking to the game you trying to push on them? Y'all get where I'm going with this? This is so much game. I'm giving y'all the game. Like, this is the game.
That's crazy.
Like, I'm giving y'all the coldest game there is. Once you just, if you just spend the next month just trying to analyze games people are playing, because everybody's playing it, from the kids to the adults, from the old to the young. What game are they playing?
Man, I was thinking about when you was talking about music, how each generation in the music industry, a lot of successful artists know that a particular generation is getting high off this one drug. So they want to make the music that sounds amazing when somebody's on that drug. So if you're not playing that, if you don't understand that game, then your songs, you don't even know why your great songs are not going hitting. But if you playing the game, we in the ecstasy generation right now. So let me make some ecstasy. That's just the way it is.
And keep going. It's gonna get better. Keep going. Next slide.
Yeah. Why it matters for entrepreneurs. Avoiding bad moves. Don't play defense when the real win is in collaboration.
Do I need to go? But we don't need to cover that no more, right? Bad move. It's me. Look, I got to defend myself. You're fucking up. You're playing that's the wrong strategy, baby. You don't understand the game you playing. Business is not about you. If you still stuck on you, get out of business. Go get you a fucking job. You can be the number one employee. Work really hard. But once you realize the game you playing, you realize if I'm going to run a business, I'm in the we game, not the I game. I don't want to hear another fucking I from you if you talk about you doing business. Just say we. Next one.
Strategic awareness. Recognize if you're in a price war, a branding war, or a trust building game.
You cross the street, 2 barbershops. He drops his prices. Do you drop your prices?
Depends.
So if you understand the game, where's your customer game they playing? You only know based upon the game your customer's playing. Maybe your customer wants more trust over pricing. Or maybe your customer you dealing with wants pricing over trust. You won't know what that price is if you just go, I know what to do.
What
I
was
say
that?
you just roll the dice and you just guess. Let's call it what the fuck you just did, guess. But if you really want to make the decision, hey, my competitor just dropped his prices. No, what should I do? Let's go to the customer. Let's read the customer and interpret what game they're playing, and you'll know what. So you may raise your price and win the game. Go ahead.
You guys ever wonder why gas stations are across the street from each other or fast food chains are right across the street from each other? That's exactly why. They're playing ping pong. It's not even about you. They're playing ping pong on the price.
Game. Once you guys start seeing game theory, this shit is crazy. The world starts looking totally, because you realize, oh, this is, okay, fuck. Next one, watch this.
Positioning. Sometimes winning isn't beating the other player, it's changing the game. Example, moving from competition to niche creation.
So you're in a game and it's frustrating and you hate it. Just change the game. You didn't know you could do that, did you? Games are not locked in. They can be changed. The problem is that if somebody created a game from the beginning, okay, go back to the poker game. You sit down at this table. You realize everybody at this table is vicious. Get your ass up, go over to the other table. Go sit with mom and grandma and them and the kids. You may come home and be wealthy that day because you're better positioned in that game. Or, okay, I got a domino table, let's go. Come to the domino table. I know y'all playing poker and shit, but hey, man, you motherfuckers good. I'm over here doing dominoes. Matter of fact, I'm playing Jamaican dominoes. What's up with y'all? Let's go. The payoff is this. Change the game. Racism. Oh, white people. Okay, then change the game. You were fighting to get to Walnut Creek, Oakland Hills, Berkeley, Albany, Hayward, and you had East Oakland. Change the game. They need to give us better schools, or you can just go down there and change the game. You see what I'm going with this? Like, you're not a victim. You just can't see the game. Next one.
Community and legacy. Game theory helps you see how cooperation can create generational wealth, not just individual wins.
So I gotta take it. This is a language of scarcity. Look, I came from a lot of bad shit, and I went through a lot, and I suffered a lot. So this is whatever you want to say after that. I'm whatever you want to say after that. And you don't realize if you just played a different game, because see, the problem with the I story and the game theory is I don't pay I. There's no I and I. I need weed to get wealthy. But I won't invest in weed because I is in the I. You see how I fucked up that is? See how game theory, once you understand game theory, you're like, this don't even make no fucking sense. I talk like this.
I mean, you know the rules of the game.
That's Pippi's right there. That's my boy. Next slide.
That's it.
Oh, is it?
That's a wrap.
Okay, we stop because I want to give you a little bit of time, not flood you with any questions before we close out. I think it was 9:23. I was flowing. I just got a good class. Okay. Any questions before we get out of here on game? This is the intro to game theory. It's
I'm almost scared to even try to formulate the question because I have a strong feeling future classes will touch on it. However, I'm gonna spit it out. I'm trying to make the correlation of, as an entrepreneur, the key is specifically in what I'm doing is curating a culture around a certain thing, a certain thing, a certain product service. And how do we influence the game? Like, first of all, I have to understand, like, again, what are the different games that people are playing? But then how do you influence those games to influence the culture?
okay. First of all, the culture cannot override the game. The culture can be, if the culture's not aligned with the game they're playing, the culture could be totally unrecognized. It's a waste of time. it falls on dead ears. The game is defined by the game your customers are playing. There's a common thread in the game they're playing. It could be, I'm really going to your event because I just want to meet beautiful people. And if you keep pouring money into culture comments, you're throwing away a lot of money. But if you've created a space where you create almost a beautiful experience, almost enhancing the experience that people are there for, and then attach culture to almost do a bait and switch, that can work, right? But whatever you do, you got to meet me at the intersection of my incentive. Not the intersection of your story, to the intersection of my incentive. And if you want to shift my incentive, that's a whole different kind of conversation. How do you shift incentives, push incentives, and drive incentives? But ultimately, why are people showing up to your space? And if you don't have access to them because part of shaping culture is you have to start saying people like us do things like this. So you attach. It's almost like you're hopping. Imagine a piece of line. This is abstract. Imagine a rope attached to here and it hops over here, and then that same attachment hops over here and then hops over there. Now you have a whole ecosystem of culture, and say people like us move like this. This is what NBA, this is what Nike has done, where they start off with this core nucleus of this is who we are. Oh yeah, by the way, people like us do things like this. Now what you're using is using the power of what they call common knowledge. There's little tricks around this. There's comedy, smiles, there's facial expressions, there's language, there's all these different things. You can create a common knowledge that can grow a culture around a core group of ideas, but it starts at the base of other people's incentives. So what happens is sometimes we get caught up in the story we want to tell, and we're not trying to figure out what story are people trying to formulate that we are the shepherds of. We're trying to shepherd a story that they want to be seen, not. And it can be innovative. We can find, a lot of times innovation is understanding what people really want, but whatever they have access to is not really providing that for them. Right? It's like, think about niche industries. It's almost like that product and service comes in and you go, that's what I've been trying to say. It gets me. I like that. Right? It's like Prince did that in the, like Prince, when Prince music came along, he spoke to our by ourselves in a room with a woman, or our dating, our sexual connection to women, right? And he did it in a way that says, yeah, you get that part. When everybody else wasn't moving like that, but he was almost telling us it's okay to break these rules, live in these spaces, right? You got to understand people's incentives over what you want to do, and then marry the two. And in that marriage, you can extend it to expand what that means, and you can own that conversation. Go ahead.
Is it sort of like with Apple in the early 2000s when lots of people wanted to listen to lots of music, but they couldn't carry the CDs? And then the iPod was the thing that allowed them to listen to the music they wanted to listen to and the amount of it without having to carry so much stuff.
Well, I even go further back. Remember that famous commercial that aired on the Super Bowl? You don't even play it one time, right? They didn't play it, just play it once. You know what it did? It used common knowledge to say, I see what you see. I see what you're going through. I see you. I see what your frustration is. I'm here for you. And it walked away. But what it did was it made them the author of their deeper desires. And they would then, when they brought the Apple computer forward, people almost did a bait and switch. Oh, the Apple computer is my desire. Technically, no. But the way they presented it, yeah. You see what's going with this? Like, they understood what people sent us, what they were frustrated. 80s jobs, boring. Young people don't want to do this shit no more. People want to be part of innovation. People want to be bigger stories. People want to have this. They want to be part of this evolution. I see you. And we're going to give you something to finally give you what you want. They spoke to their incentives, not where Microsoft did some other marketing that was cold-blooded. Their game was they played the positioning game, and they whooped everybody's ass. To this day, they still whoop ass. Which is, oh, you need a network? Got you. You need a network? Got you. So once I get this in enough offices and businesses, well, I got path dependency. Path dependency means that you can't compete with me because I got it locked down to the point that everybody used to me. Yeah, you got the new shit, but they used to me right now. And your networks and shit, that software that connects to the internet that has a security system, I got all that. So they came in real fast and created path to dependency. But where Apple's been making moves in other areas that made them a strong company is they position themselves as, I'm aligning with the incentives of the market I'm serving. Think about how many people carry iPhones as a statement of who they are more than it's just functionality. To this day, the white thing in your ear is a statement. Yeah, I fuck with Apple. I'm artist, I'm progressive, I'm creative. I'm part of the evolution. As opposed to, these are some of the best. These are the best ones. That's what I got. These are the best ones. Go ahead.
I just have a question to dive deeper into Fern's question. Because when she said she's like trying to influence culture, it made me think of your question to us, like what is culture, and thinking about that in a concrete sense, and then thinking about how you actually build that culture is abstract thinking. So in terms of what Fern is trying to do, can you maybe rephrase your answer in terms of how you find a path to a solution in abstraction and concrete thinking?
You talk about as far as like how would I arrive to that point?
Right.
Of understanding of finding the incentives. So I
Yeah.
told Fern this, I think about a month or two ago. I was like, Fern, how well do you listen to your customers? How well do you engage your customers? How well are you going through process of like investigating and gaining insights? I ain't talking about the insights like fill out this form. That's just trash. I'm talking about observations. Strong observations, questions, conversations. Listen, like literally, like you have to hear so much chatter to gather an hypothesis of figuring out what that is, because you can't see it. Right, you can't. People don't tell you what they stand. Like if you go out on a date, you ask a guy why you here. That first comment probably gonna be a little altered because he's trying to date you. Maybe a year later you'll find out why he really was there. Right, that's the same thing when you ask people, strangers and whatever. Right, and you can start doing testing as you learn a little bit, test a little, and you'll start getting a ping because you start seeing the crowd going, yeah, this is it. This is what we want. You'll see numbers shift toward, you'll see behavior shift toward, you'll see a lot of shifts that indicate that you're tapping into there, and you can start even improving your insights, your questions, your conversations to the point where you start saying, and then one day you'll throw up like, hey, people like us do things like this, and people are like, wow, you see us. But it's a discovery process. It's not like run a multiple choice question, or it's not it's going to be obvious they're going to wear it on their shirt as soon as they walk in, right? But you can even look at people's clothes also. If your observation is cold enough, going back to some of the game theory, when people walk into my space, I'm watching everything you do. I'm getting a read on you. I can even tell you if you fit my culture. So when I'm building a culture in my business, there's been people I couldn't hire or I let go because they just didn't fit the culture, right? Because the culture is tied to a certain degree of incentives. Why are we all here? Why are we going this way? Can you buy into this incentive? Does this incentive align in anything with you in your life? If it doesn't align, your incentive is just get a check. You'll see the difference. You'll feel the difference. So you got to be able to read. This is why game theory is abstract dependent, because you got to see things that are not visible to access game theory. It's not looking for visible cues. It's looking for learning to read the invisible cues. And why that's a struggle for a lot of people in our culture is because it's not part of our culture. Go to a barbershop and start this conversation and watch somebody shrink into a binary, concrete conclusion. And people will laugh and go with that person. Well, okay, you tell me, what is it going to be? Going to be right or left? See, because at the end of the day, you going to pay rent or you going to pay for the car? Which one going to be? Because me, I'm going to pay for the car, brother. Yeah, see, fuck all that shit that I'm talking about. It's about paying for your car. And you're like, God damn, y'all missed the whole fucking point. Go ahead, Scott, real quick.
I'll jump in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
To piggyback on that, the way you change culture is you got to change the story, and you got to listen to the story of your customers and clients. But why that's important is every story is a theory of control. Every story we tell ourselves is our idea of how the world works. And from the way that we think the world works, we think that's how I get the thing. This is the story. This is the map of how I get the thing. That's my story. That's what culture is. Culture is an easily replicatable way to do a thing, to get a thing. So when your story doesn't match your customer's story, you get what's called a story war or a culture war, because what you're trying to do, what you're trying to get them to behave as, is not what they're trying to behave as. So you got to listen for their stories and what they want. Behavior.
Yeah, but you earn their
Behavior.
trust. So
Trust.
yeah,
Yeah.
So because part of not earning their trust is that as you speak, you're speaking to their story. Imagine. Okay, let me give you an example. Have you ever had a white person come to you as a black person and try to get you aligned with them, but then you felt like they had no cultural awareness of who they were talking to?
I just did it right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. so in the way you speak, the words you choose, your response, your humor, your common knowledge is not aligned for us to have a cultural affiliation, right? We could be black. You could be black from New York and black from East Oakland. I'm talking about real New York and real East Oakland. And the reason we're going to question each other culturally, we can align, but the way we're going to question it because we just have different cues in how we respond to certain things. So for me to really build, like you see me and you get it, Nike couldn't come to you with their founders and say, just do it. You'd be like, bruh, I don't see how you ever did anything. You're not even part of the culture. All right, let me go get Michael Jordan. Let me go get LeBron. Let me go get Dr. J. Let me go get Magic Johnson. Let me go get Kobe Bryant. Oh, they see us. It's us. And why did they go get Tim Duncan? He cool, but he ain't really the culture. I mean, why you get Nash? Well, not our culture. Well, why'd you go get what's his name? A Kaepernick? Because he's culture. See that now we have the same common knowledge. We're saying the same thing without saying the same things. So because you can see me, you're in my trust. Now you can easily say, well, if you rock Nike, you run all the time because Nike people, we run. You're influencing culture now because you're part of the culture, but you can't influence from the outside.
Like I said, I got so many because this is like what we've been talking about. Just really understanding incentives, really understanding how we influence stuff, taking the position that we have and being able to expand upon it, or using our strengths, our area of genius to just focus on that and don't worry about it. And the last thing is, most of the people that we serve now, they don't look like me. So understanding what that person looks like, what they need, and just watching them, it's just so interesting.
And watching them, maybe also going out your way to watch them in other spaces to understand their motivations. 3 is that, remember, go back to when the class used to teach service, like serve over everything. We were teaching you, that was the foundation of playing the game. Because I can't service the game you're playing if I don't see what game you're playing. But in order to see what game you're playing, I got to learn how to analyze the game you're playing. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, too, is that it goes back to what Cor was just saying about just observation knowledge. So, yes, you're watching to see the cues, but some of it you have to immerse yourself. And before you said that, I was thinking it's almost like learning how to speak a language that you may not originally speak, where they have certain code words or you know what I mean, type of language.
Yes.
And then using that to say what you're trying to say.
So
that's exactly what it is.
Yes.
They're called cultural artifacts. That's the technical term.
Cultural artifacts, yes.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like using analogies, like in this class, you guys mentioned using sports or gym analogies more often, more frequently, because that's common knowledge to what you come from, as being...
Well said.
Exactly. So it's like understanding that and putting that into your industry or putting that into whatever market you're trying to reach. It's like, well, what's the secret language y'all use? Okay, you know about Martin, right? All right, so it's similar to this. Or you know about Fresh Prince, right? Oh, it's similar to this. So now you're using that language to say what you ultimately want to say, and now they feel like it's a little bit more authentic.
Yeah, it's. I remember the first time I traveled outside the United States. A traveler knows that you're a traveler or not a traveler because you won't know the culture of travelers. Travelers talk different. They think different. They process the world different because they're going amongst other cultures all the time. So they have to process. Person who's from America, we have American culture, and we break everywhere. We go different places to be breaking shit because we don't understand how to move amongst other cultures, right? Once you start to see this, like you have to kind of, once again, the reason abstract is the foundation, and you have to grow this muscle. You don't get to take this class and own it. You get to take this class and start the journey of growing the muscle to eventually be able to move in this space. that's why I struggle with trying to explain it to you, because I'm trying to say, I can't transfer this to you. I got to start you on the journey of, like, you gotta, like, you know how people say you think too much. You grew up in like hood, we talk, you think too much. You gotta think too much. to own this, you gotta get used to thinking all the time. You don't tell people you're thinking all the time. Like, if I'm in a room, I'm already analyzing my ass. I can't turn it off. It's not something I turn on when I want to be deep and then go. No, I'm always processing things from a deep space, right? But what happens is when it's time for them to make decisions and play games, the ways I'm able to have advantages. Now, there's people way better than me. But what gives me an advantage in a lot of games I play is because I understand game theory, that all that data I'm taking in is informing me of strategy on how to move. So when I want to please a customer, I'm reading that customer. Even the customer just tell me, like, for example, let's say a customer just talking to me and we just shooting the shit. They give me hella data. Where do you laugh at? Tell me where your commonality sits. When you start crying, when you get mad, when you say you was irritated, when you say places you like to go, when you tell me the things you love, that's all game. All game. I can then throw another question at you that seems just totally innocent, like I'm just curious about you. Like, well, would you do this or that? Oh, I would do this. Oh, why? Because game. Cool. Got it. And then you start seeing, a large percentage of people came to my party because they were looking for somebody to date. A large percentage of people came to my party because they love wine. A large percentage of my people just wanted to come because they wanted to be around a certain type of energy and culture. All right, where is my advantage here? Where's my potential growth here? Let's test it. Now, here's the thing with abstract. You ain't gonna know a lot of this shit because you're dealing with the rule of, remember I taught you guys a long time ago, randomness, which means you can have a perfect strategy for the past that has nothing to do with the future. And most strategical thinking is historical. It's hindsight, not foresight. So you got to understand that you're in a hypothesis. You're in a hypothesis game. You're not in a, which is educated guessing game. You're not in a game of I know what to do next. You can just increase. You have higher probabilities than your peers, so you have higher wins over a period of time than you have losses. But losses is part of the equation because it's a trade-off. Hopefully, I hurt your heads today. Pause. Hopefully I hurt your brains today. And at the end of the day, I challenge you to think about this totally different. I'm introducing some more game theory to you. But the goal of this is to get your mind to realize the way you've been thinking about it, that's not all there is. And the world's not working against you. There's more growth for you. And as you grow, you gain more opportunities and life feels a little bit more fair to you. And only going to feel more fair to you because you grew into it, not life got easier for you. All right? Let's have a good night, y'all.